Is that time again for an almighty change to Warhammer 40,000? The balanced data slate for points are out. Michael, there's some winners, there's some losers. How excited are you for this change?
Yeah, it's all right.
Next, get rid. I want a bit more enthusiasm, Michael, because I'm excited for this.
Look, there's a lot. You're going to see a lot of red on some of these points.
Yes.
You're also going to see a lot of green. Some might not be expected. Some I think we can fully expect.
Yeah.
But there's also some very exciting little tweaks.
Yes.
To some of the rules that definitely impacted some of us on the tables at tournaments. We'll talk about secret missions later. That's a big one.
I think that's exactly what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the biggest losers and winners of the points data slate. You've got it now, Games Workshop. It's all out there on the website. So you can check out the exact changes. We're going to be covering each faction blow by blow, what's actually changed and the impact that might have on your armies back home, or maybe things you want to consider in the future. And then we can kind of give a bit of a roundup of maybe how we think the meta might shift, some really interesting builds, things that we're both excited about or, disappointed with. Because, we like the game as well. I'm going to be disappointed about a few things. My army may have taken a bit of a hit. Pretty substantial one, but there we go. And I think that's the most important thing, is to stay level-headed for this. It's the long term. It's for the health of the game so that more people feel like they can enjoy it, that it's accessible, that it's easy to learn, but hard to master. And that's really the key, is to make sure that balance at the top, every single faction not only has great internal balance, but also then external balance as well. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
but there are some changes, like you said, that you've alluded to. It's not just points. There's some changes to, some of the erratas, and what an errata is, if you're unfamiliar with it. It's maybe like they got a rule not quite worded in the best way. Maybe there's a little bit of ambiguity about how it should work. So some of that's kind of been cleaned up with, hey, this is actually what we meant. Yeah. And that's kind of an errata. And then also the, what's it called? The mission companion?
Tournament companion, yeah.
That's been updated. And for most of people that out there that play tournaments, there's some significant impacts here, mostly around secret missions, which I'm super happy about. I'm very happy about that, because I personally hate secret missions.
I know somebody else that hates secret missions.
Yeah.
He's on deck today. It's Jordan.
Jordan.
I hate secret missions.
Now, I think for me, they have a place, but they should not belong in the tournament pack.
Fair enough.
That's my, hey, we're going to a tournament. This is what we play. And I'll come on to that maybe another show. But
could be a controversial opinion.
It is a very controversial opinion, because I know people now, and this is the issue, people actually play for it.
Yeah.
And it was never really intended to be that type of mechanic. It wasn't but I'll just secret mission and win the game. It was a chance to get back in the game, to tighten the scores. And for the previous inclusion of secret missions, it became heavily, well, my army's secret missions really well, and I can just score all these points at the end of the game. It can be a really dull, boring game. Oh, and I've gone second and now I win. Like, it was never really the game you wanted it to be, right?
No. And when we dive into the actual changes, we can sort of explore whether we think that's enough, or whether we definitely need a hard line for whether we use secret missions or not.
Yeah. If I ran a tournament, there'd be no secret missions.
I'm going to write a tournament, it's just secret missions.
I like it, yeah. Bring gambits back.
No primary.
Bring gambits back,
Just
what I'm saying.
missions,
Bring the gambits back. Okay. Anyway, so without any further ado, look, if you are at home and you've got a question for myself, Michael, or Jordan, then please do super chat that in. I'm sure Jordan will pick on some others as well. But let's not waste any time, and let's get stuck into our first faction of today, which is, Jordan,
Sisters.
Who would play these?
Some numpty.
Yeah.
Big, tanned, muscly, numpty.
Yeah, there's a lot of red here.
There is a lot of red there.
There's a lot of red going on here. Now, on our little slides, as you can see, anything red is basically had a nerf, or,
It's been increased in points.
Yes.
It's not necessarily a nerf. They're quite good, these guys. So.
But that's typically what if you've ever heard that term before, a nerf, it's basically when an army or whatever, or a unit has had an increase in points or a decrease in its rules, right?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we are, with this data slate, only changed the points. So let's go through these one by one, okay? The Triumph of St. Catherine is up 60 points. What do you think, Michael?
I was not expecting it to go up that much. I was expecting to go up
For sure.
because I don't play Sisters,
Yeah.
but I'm aware it's a very, very powerful piece in the army.
Yeah.
But 60 points does seem like a lot.
It is a lot.
You really got to consider whether you bother including it.
Which is great.
Yeah.
I am at that point where I'm considering of dropping it. I think back to how I played it before the Index. I never ran the Triumph. I didn't need +2 move then. And in my army in particular, of Army of Faith, I already get one of the Triumph abilities anyway.
Right.
So the relevance for me is less compared to other, for example, like Bringers of Flame. They really rely on that to really accentuate their speed, to do the double miracle dice, to get rerolls of 1 to wound with all the exorcists. So you've got to think about as well, and this is one of the issues I think with the detachment system specifically. Each detachment does become quite polarizing to some degree of pushes some units to be hyper efficient, and then in other detachments they're a bit meh. And we'll probably come onto that in a lot later degree, and that's polarized a lot more in some of the factions.
Yeah, and it's actually a common theme through a lot of the pointless changes we'll see throughout the rest of this live.
Yeah, now Sisters' win rate was massive. It was very, very high. I think it was probably them and Thousand Sons at the highest win rate at the moment. And I would say probably 95% of lists are playing Bringers of Flame. This is where you can advance and shoot. I ran Army of Faith. That was kind of what I liked, and I had pretty good success with that. Yeah. So for me, Morvium Val's gone up 10 points.
I think she could have gone up more.
I disagree with this change.
Okay.
I disagree that she only went up 10. I think she probably could have gone up 20, personally. But to conclude this, it's probably worth talking about the Paragon Warsuits. They've also gone up 10. I don't think you take Paragon Warsuits now without Val. So I would have liked to then probably stay the same, but Val gone up. So it meant Paragon Warsuits by themselves are a little bit more viable.
Well, you were rarely seeing Paragons without Val anyway. It was a tough inclusion in the list, right?
Yeah.
So
it's made it even harder.
Yeah.
Because I've had them, I ran two units of 3, one with Val, one without, and now I just don't feel like at 220. They were already on the cusp of getting dropped anyway. So now it's an easy decision to drop them, and I don't think that's ever great.
No.
What I was hoping for Sisters specifically is some ups and downs.
Yeah.
So let's look at some of these units that are never really taken, like the Sacrosancts. I love those models, but at 200 points for the unit and the character is too much. You can't justify it. And I was really hoping there would be some. There are some here. So the Zephyrin, the combat sister unit that flies with jump packs, down 5 for 5, down 10 for 10. Probably not enough really to make them viable. I think it maybe 80. Yeah. Around there, you might see some inclusion because the girls with the flame pistols, with the shoot and scoot, with the ability for the dev wound stratagem as well in Bringers of Flame, it's just where you kind of go.
They're just too good all round, and it's difficult to find a place for where Zephyrin really fit in.
Yeah.
And I think that's, I agree, but yeah, we'll see if they get included a bit more because everything else has gone up.
Yeah. The Dialogues up 10, I think that's more than just. I think a 30-point character is probably too cheap anyway. There probably should be like a hardline base of what's just a base worth. Has to have some sort of points value, and at 30 points it was too cheap, especially for what it does for the army. Because it really manipulates those miracle dice. We've then got Battle Sisters down 10. I think that's a great change because everybody just took Dominions. Yeah. Battle Sisters, let's get some of those back in the army. The Immolator up 10. I think that's also fair and just. Yeah, strips cover, got some all right guns on it.
Yeah, you split squads with it, right? So it's got multiple different uses. It's a very good unit.
Yeah, the Castigator up 10.
I could see that going up more, to be honest.
Most lists took 3. The issue I think here with this, I think Castigators could have gone up 15 points. Because that would have really hurt somebody taking 3. Yeah. Now I feel like, my list, for example, an Army of Faith, I lost 160 points. Okay. Celestine, you're gone. Right. And I can still take the exact same list. Or Paragon Warsuits are out, and I maybe put in a unit of, I don't know, like another little unit of Arcos or something. Yeah. Yeah.
Were you running 3 Castigators in your list?
I was.
Yeah, okay.
And I think
you can easily make up for it now.
Yeah.
Even with because did you have the Triumph as well?
I did.
Yeah. So even with the 60-point increase and 30 from them, just dropping 1 unit and you kind of.
Now I did actually in my list. There are some things you can do, like the Dominions are up 10. So now there's a much bigger divide between Dominions and Battle Sisters.
Right.
Dominions get like a reactive move, they get scout, they get much more better guns, they got assault baked in. So the fact that they were the same points cost was a bit crazy.
Yes.
The fact there's now a 20-point difference, which I do like a lot. I think that's a nice little, yeah, cool. If you want a bit of scouts, 20 points more.
Yeah.
All right, it's a decision point, which I like. So this is where Bringers of Flame now has kind of been hit a little bit harder. So their enhancements have gone up. So Fire and Fury, Righteous Rage, the Manual of St. Griselda, they've all gone up some sort of points as well.
Okay.
So, Jordan, we have a list, right? That was at LGT, the Bringers of Flame list?
We do, yeah.
How many points has that gone up by?
I'll put the list up now.
Okay.
So it's gone up by 200 points.
200 points.
200 points. Well, I mean, yours went up, what, 160?
160, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not too much difference.
Yeah.
But it's mainly, what is it? Mainly the Castigators, Dominions.
Do you want me to run you through the list?
Yeah, go through the list, yeah.
So we've got a Canoness with the St. Griselda enhancement. We've
Okay.
got Dilogus, Morven Val,
Yeah.
Palatine with the Righteous Rage one,
Okay.
Triumph for St. Catherine. We've got 3 Immolators, 3 Castigators, 2 lots of 10 Dominions, 3 Paragon Warsuits, 10 Seraphim, and 10 Sister Novitiates.
So every single unit, apart from the Novitiates, has gone up.
Yeah.
Whereas in my army, only like half of them went up. Like Celestine stayed the same, Junif stayed the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of the, I suppose, the difference there. 200 points. I mean, you drop the Triumph and you can still take the same army.
Yeah.
I mean, this
Same
was a
army,
list that the highest place in Sisters list at LGT as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just shows you what's been hit, I guess.
Yeah. 200 points. That's quite. Yeah, I think it is.
It's interesting, right? Because it's not quite as big a change as we've seen in previous seasons.
Yeah.
We've seen 300 points up to 400.
What's their win rate at the moment?
That I don't know. I can find out.
Because I don't think it's in the 60s.
Mm.
I think in the past we've seen
Yes.
it really creep up to 60s, even 70s to some extent in previous editions. So if it's like high 50s, then it's probably about right.
So I do have
yeah.
a question for you before we move on from Sisters.
Yeah.
Are there any units you would have liked to see changes on that haven't been changed?
I would have liked to have seen some go down
Okay.
for the, oh, that's an option now. Rather than what do I cut from my list to still take 3 Castigators or the Immolators?
Yeah.
I want to think about my army now in a new way. I don't want to think about it as what do I just drop to keep running the same army? Because then we're going to end up with Eldar 2.0, where it was like, oh, there's a nerf to Eldar, you just take less Warp Spiders. I've not got 3 units, I've got 2 units.
Yeah.
I've had to drop now another unit of Shadow Spectres. I've gone from 3 to 2. Like, we don't want to... it's just boring. You get to the table, it's what you're playing, Bringers of Flame. Oh, you've got the 2, the 3, this, that, and cool. It's boring.
Any particular unit you would like to see like a drop on from Sisters?
Oh, the Sacrosancts.
Okay.
Yeah. The Repentia at 180. Just for how fragile that unit is. And again, this is polarized by a couple of things probably. Not only the detachment of the penitent host, but also the community's response to things. I think often the community can be too blaming Games Workshop. Why have you given this faction drops when it's already a broken army? And it's rather than looking at it from the perspective of, okay, how do we have diverse armies that are on the tabletop where all units are a decision? And then probably Games Workshop would feel like, okay, we probably can do some drops here to make these units a bit more viable. And we probably would end up with a more spread of units on the table. But I do feel like sometimes they feel slightly nervous about making drops on high-performing armies in order to just... It feels like often it's a nerf. Does it get below this perfect threshold? Okay, now it has. Well, now we... Which I feel like is a... not necessarily the most proactive approach. It's more reactive.
Yes.
And I don't know, that's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong, but...
So it's interesting because you compare them to Eldar, and when we go to Eldar, we'll start to see like further down the line, is this where we're going to see Sisters?
Yeah.
So we can bring that back up when we start looking at Eldar.
Yeah, because some of those changes we're probably going to see today in Eldar could have been brought in months ago and saw some inclusion on these units. And actually with a diversified list so that people didn't just take the same list over and over again and you felt like you're an idiot if you didn't.
Yeah.
it would have been interesting.
Certainly would.
Because Eldar's been a bit of a, meh faction since, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, cool. So let's go on to, has anybody got any disagreeing opinions with me, by the way? And I'm always happy to debate and disagree. It's always healthy, right? So.
If I'm honest, the main topic of conversation is Space Marines
Right.
and Thousand Sons as well.
Well, they can wait.
So we'll get to them. We're going in alphabetical order, okay?
Yeah, come on, guys. Keep with the topics.
Exactly. The sisters, I have just asked, and so Damn Legion said sisters too heavy-handed.
No.
Chuck and Ori said my sister is all right. Yeah, so I think Chuck's very happy about his sisters.
Not heavy-handed.
No.
Not enough.
I think what you're looking at here, and this is, I think, a trend for where you see a lot of red, is this is balance, like, for the game. But if you see a lot of red, but also a lot of green, that's internal balance.
Yeah.
And for sisters, we're not seeing a lot of internal balance. We're seeing just balance.
Yeah, and like
external balance, rather.
This might be also controversial opinion, I want Games Workshop to make bank. I want them to make money. And the reason is because if they make more money, more people will come into the hobby.
Yeah.
They'll be able to do more cooler things. And if all, Sacrosancts, well, they're garbage. Never going to buy them. You might buy a unit, try and go there. Not buying a second unit or a third unit. You're like, oh, they're just down the shelf.
Yeah.
That's not healthy.
No.
Because they'll stay on the shelves for ages, and then all of it. I want it all to be an option. So when you get on the Games Workshop site, you're like, this isn't sold out anymore because it's the best thing. Mm-hmm. I want to go on the Games Workshop site and go, it's all in stock, but it's all an option. Yep. It's all playable. Yep. It all has a unique role on the table that if used correctly, I can, score points with it, destroy my enemy, hold primary, score secondaries, deny primary, whatever it is, I don't care. I want it to be diverse.
Yes.
That's all I want. Okay?
Deathwatch players, I see you.
Yeah, exactly. Right, cool. So, Custodes up next, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
It's all green.
There's not a lot of it, though, is there?
There's not a lot, no. So, Trajan Valorius down 10, the Contempt Dreadnought down 10, Praetors down 10, and then, or 15, depending on the number you take, and then the 2 Dreadnoughts from the Forge World down 10 as well.
Okay. I don't know that it's that impactful.
Yeah.
The Praetors, maybe. Because I know some people were on the verge of using Praetors.
Yeah. What were they, 4 wounds?
I think they're 4, yeah.
4 wounds, toughness 6, 2 up, 4 up. Something like that.
I'll check for you now.
All right.
But obviously the main issue is mounted, right?
Yeah.
Because it can't go through walls.
No.
So if they had some way of being able to go through walls, then they would...
If they could fly.
Yeah. Can you imagine if,
fly
the
work.
next slate, they
fly
just bring
worked.
fly and back in, and the entire game's turned on its head?
Oh, it's so good.
That would make me so happy.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Jetpacks.
Oh.
Jet bikes even.
No,
jetpacks are fine.
No, jetpacks.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, is it impactful? I mean, I don't think you can realistically take Trajan down much lower than 140.
It does become a little silly if you start reducing them below that. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And that's where Custodes are in a bit of a tricky little spot, isn't it?
Yeah. The difficulty is because, yes, the 10-point changes. Normally in most armies, 10-point changes for a unit is massive, but obviously you don't get many models in a Custodes army, so a 10-point change can literally just be, my army is now 1990, not 2000.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see where we go. Do Dreadnoughts now, does taking multiple Dreadnoughts, because if you took 9 Dreadnoughts, you're saving, 90 points? Does that suddenly become an option?
Yes, you can take 5 Sisters of Silence, Michael. Okay, or an Assassin. No, you can't. They're 100. So, no, I get your point. Yeah. And that's sometimes the issue is because we don't have the granularity in list building so much anymore. It's very, very polarized. I could just take an enhancement. Is that enhancement going to be able to win you a game now?
Yeah. Does it change the win percentage?
Probably not.
No.
So it's like they might. Anyway, but I would have liked to seen here the units go down that are pretty much unaffected by the army rule. I'd have liked to have seen the Land Raider come down.
Yeah.
Because I think when you've got a Land Raider that has Oath of Moment, or the ability for, let's say, CSM, to get, is it sustained on crits on 5?
Yeah, sustained or lethal, yeah.
There's nothing really that pushes the Land Raider to be better. No. And I think rather than thinking, a Space Marine Land Raider's this, so we have to keep the Custodian one the same, but the rule interaction is very different in how they interact with the army. Why can't they be different? Because the value proposition is different.
Yes, agreed.
Anyway, go on, Jordan, you got your hand up.
Sorry, Mike, do you mind moving your microphone up a little bit? People are just saying they're finding it hard to hear you a little bit.
Is it even on? Yes, on.
It is on.
Is it even on?
Mm.
Yeah, no worries.
So, yeah, Custodian players, what do you think? Are you a Custodians player? What do you think? Are we right by what you've said, or do you disagree?
Yeah.
There's a few actual comments in the chat. So Ali said, "Surprise, no points changes for the tank and Venatari." There's people saying that there's basically no real change. So Dorian said no real change.
Yeah, I think Venatari and the tank probably didn't change because Custodes' win rate isn't good enough
to warrant the increase.
To warrant an increase.
Yeah, but again, that's not great internal balance.
No, and I guess that's what we're seeing here is internal balance for Custodes is what they're
aiming for.
Can
we? And it is, I suppose, like, can we push the needle in the right direction? And at some point, we'll find that true, accuracy with it. Okay, I mean, you probably could have knocked off 5 points off some of the other units here and there. Like, can Custodes take an extra unit? Even if it's an extra unit of sisters, probably just helps a traditional army just have a little bit more function on the table, score some more missions, things like that. So,
well, if you take 9 Dreadnoughts, yes.
Cool, I'm on it.
Sorted.
I'm on it, Michael. Yeah. Okay, up next.
Admech.
Some greens, some reds. This looks like what I would hope to see from all factions have going forward.
Yeah, this is internal balance.
Yeah.
Is what we're looking at.
Mm-hmm. Because Admech can be very good. So let's have a little look at this. So the is that the guy on
the stilts?
Yes.
Peter Crouch.
Stiltman's down 10. Tech priests are down. All the sort of tech priests are down. We've then got the Vanguard up 5, so 95 points for 10 of those. Their battle line, obviously, which really helps the army.
Yeah, well, some armies were taking 5 to 6 squads of these.
Yeah. So. Then we've also got the Hounds are down. Yeah, both types, obviously, for depending on the size. And then all the flying people, they're up. 5 or 10 respectively of their number size. The Honor Gadoon Call are down 5. The Electro Priests are all down. And then the Iron Striders are up as well. So
it's basically the most vicious and most commonly taken units have all gone up, which I think is fair. Every list was running 20 plus Taraxi in it. And you were seeing a lot of the Ballistari as well. It's interesting, breaches haven't changed. So maybe they feel like breaches are in a good place. But the Tech Priests did go down a little.
Yeah, because I think if we think about unit choice, you normally assign a role to that unit. Is it a damage dealer? Is it a primary holder? Is it a little bit of both? You know, some ranged units can hold primary and do damage. Some others can be more of a primary denial and more of a killing unit, or just some are just simply mission play. So they have a role, and then what we look at is typically, this is an auto-include. My list automatically starts with 600 points of these units filled out. That's a problem. And then you've got the units which are like, well, I sometimes take these, I've played around with them and they're kind of okay, and sometimes they perform well, sometimes they underperform. And then you get the other side of the bell, because every sort of population in units or a population essentially in the faction, you've got like the two ends of the bell curve. And at the other end is never take it. Yep. Utter garbage. So what we kind of want is to make those extremes a little bit more narrower as an option, and sort of bring it more into, so the bell curves gets even thinner of the autos and never takes. Yeah. So hopefully now with some of these,
I'd like to see like some of the data SARM detachments get a run out. You know, if you are an Admech player, is it worth now looking at running the priests? How the decrease is enough? Obviously, the last balance changes gave them the Doctrina imperatives.
That's cool.
So I'd like to see some experimentation with that. Looking at competitive lists, which obviously we do for recording the masterclasses and such, it's just Skitarii Hunter cohort. Occasionally Cybernetica.
Yeah.
For people who are really.
I think there's a mistake on here. It should be Corpuscari Electro Priest a 10 for 130.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah. So I blame Jordan.
Yeah,
typo.
blame me.
But just make that clear quickly. It's just a typo.
Yeah.
I think 65 points. 65 points for a unit of 5 models is generally quite good, I think, is a baseline for just even the basis
Yeah.
Regardless of whatever they do, even just having 65 points, that's just going to hold my home field objective.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
65 points comes on from strat reserves, does a containment for you.
Yeah.
65 point well spent. They don't even need they could have literally 1 wound, toughness 1 movement. It literally doesn't matter. You just on, contain, good, done.
Yeah, agreed.
So there's some element there of these points are kind of okay for that, but...
Yeah, I guess the question is that I would have for you admin players is does your win rate warrant you actually for your army to have increases? Because if admin aren't doing that well anyway,
yeah,
then why are they getting
I think
increases on their best units?
Yeah. Go on, Jordan.
So we have had a few comments about that. So Matt has just said AdMech is showing good stats in stat check, but they're very expensive to play, monetary wise. But then, like Tassanara said, Ballistari are no longer €1 a point. So I think like some of the points increase is actually going up on certain units is actually probably more healthier maybe for an AdMech player because then they're not
Healthy for their bank account.
healthier for their bank account. But like you said, you now got options with other units.
Yeah.
Which is the general consensus of what everyone's saying in the chat. So
Good.
Good. Glad to hear it. Right, Aeldari up next.
Okay.
A faction that I literally haven't touched since 9th edition, which is a shame because I do love my Eldar. And it's all green.
Yeah.
It's all green. So we got the Corsairs down 10 in 20. We got the Wave Serpent down 10. Corsair Void Scars down 10 in 20. We've then got the Falcon down, the Fire Prism down, 3 Shining Spears are down, 6 are down obviously, Warlock Conclave down, Wraith Guard, Wraith Blades all down, Wraith Knight down. Now the Wraith Knight is not quite what it once was.
No.
That was an absolute terror. If you remember back to the early days, so were Wraith Guard as well.
What is interesting is it's just the 5s that have changed here.
Yes. And I like this. I really think this is a step in the right direction because there's certain abilities in the game. Let's take Sisters, for example. The 10 unit with the Flamers is the real problem for me because they get access to the Dev Wound strat. You can put a Canoness in there with another Flamer, so all of a sudden you get like 96 Flamers with Dev Wounds.
Yep.
That's the real... Like when that comes along, goes, cool, I'm going to spend, oh, sorry, it's actually free, this stratagem. Your unit's dead. That creates a bit of a feel bad. So if you're going to create that pain on your opponent, at least have the pain in taking the points. Yeah. And obviously the Wraith Guard works specifically well with the mechanic of shooting back. So obviously if there's 5 of them, if you kill them all, they ain't shooting back. So if there's 10, they're going to more likely get that rule right.
Yep.
And then also it works so much better when you start applying the characters to it because of the obviously that the overlapping buffs you get as well. And don't one of the model bring a model back?
Yeah. So even your miracle dice efficiency, right? Because if you want to advance this unit or you want to apply, a roll to the damage, it costs you 1/6 and you affect the whole unit, something like that, or a charge, whatever it might be. Makes it stronger. But it'd be interesting to see if people do run 5s.
Don't know.
Yeah.
I like it though. I like the direction of it, which is good.
Shining Spears is cool.
Yeah, Shining Spears again down. I mean, they just need
Let's fly in it.
jet bikes.
You just want fly.
Just give me some jet bike action. I mean, the Fire Prism at 170 was a good tank at 180 because of the interaction with obviously the ability to shoot through each other. One can shoot, scoot back. They're kind of indestructible in some games. They're so hard to get. So 170 for one of them is pretty good. When you compare that to like a Lancer, is 160-ish?
it's 160.
Yeah. The Fire Prism is still better.
It is, yeah, it's much more efficient.
It's a great tank. So 170 looks pretty good for them. The Shining Spears, will they see play? Maybe at 90 points for 3. It's still quite expensive. But for like the damage that they put out.
I mean, Ross has done well with his Aeldari recently. Ross, one of our coaches and players, shout out there, done very well with Shining Spears, and he really rates them. So it'd be interesting to see if they now go way more in value and actually include more units of Shining Spears.
I mean, I used to run 18 of them.
Yeah. So would this put them in your list?
I've thought about it, Michael.
Well, there you go.
I've thought about it. Yeah. If only I could, have like a cool leader for them. That'd be sweet. But anyway. That's what I think that unit is missing as well, is sometimes like some units in the game are impacted because they can't be affected by any leader abilities, which is a bit of a shame really. So anyway, Wave Serpent down 10, I mean that's a good tank for a Wave Serpent at 110, that was looking pretty viable. So hopefully Eldar will see a bit more diversity.
Yes.
So there we go.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because I don't know how impactful this really is with some of these. You know, like the Corsair, obviously, not that impactful. But I know we were seeing Skyrunners. Oh, but these are the unit of Warlocks, so actually you're not seeing these anyway.
No.
So I guess it's really the Fire Prism, the Falcon, and the Wave Serpent that are probably the most common units in this list.
Yeah. But if you were running 2 Fire Prisms, you've dropped 20. Like the Guardians are still quite expensive because you can only take 10s.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I think it all depends on does their hard matchups get easier because I think this is the other thing to consider as well, is when a top faction is nerfed, does that, even if you didn't change, your matchup now is easier or better. So that's kind of because you didn't. Like if let's say there's 20 factions in the game and you were the one faction that didn't change, but all the other 19 got changed to be worse, then you've actually had a buff by not getting touched. Yeah. You were left alone. You were all right. So actually it makes all those, because really that's the relevancy, is how does it now compete on the table against other factions? So there's so many units. Like it's a difficult job for Games Workshop to get spot on. And like we said, it's just about pushing that needle slightly closer. Guard next, Astra Militarum. Right. So as someone that's played against this list recently and been on the receiving end of it, and you're a Guard player, I'm interested to know your opinion on this, Michael. So Tank Commander up 20.
Yeah. It's one of those unfortunate bits where I kind of wish they just changed the rules for him. He doesn't need to shoot on death on a 2-up. Let's be real. And
so the issue for me with him, and I had this when I played Nassim at LGT, I blew it up and it was like, well, I'm just going to shoot your, I'll just do some chip damage to your St. Catherine. Didn't even shoot it. That's just minding its own business, get me some 6s on an objective, get me air denial, and he's like, I'll shoot that now. I was like, okay. He rolls max hits, max shots, max hits, max wounds, and I failed 6 out of 7 invuns. All of those D6 damage, 22 damage, and I'm like, well, that's changed the game somewhat. Yeah. If it could only shoot the target that shot it, like most of the others are typically worded, or if it could shoot anywhere but like an Overwatch mechanic. Yeah, it just seems unnecessary. It's unfortunate, right? Because the tank commanders are some of the only units that can give orders to other tanks. Yeah. So you kind of have to take at least one if you want to run tanks. That's a rule change, not a points change.
It's a rule change, not a points change, and this is the quickest and easiest way, I guess, of doing it.
At this time, yeah. So other data sheets that have changed, we've got Bulgrin. These neat. I'm glad. Because, these are so good.
I played against them at the LGT before last.
Yeah.
Against the spam Bulgrin list, and it was just as toxic, but
18.
cheaper. It was 18, yeah.
It's sickening.
It's horrible.
Yeah. So if you were running 18, Nassim, you're now going to have to pay an extra 40 points per unit. So that's up by 120 points, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, if mine and Nassim's list now played again at LGT, we've both lost 160 points.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Anyway, so the heavy ordnance battery is down. Weapons down, Ogryn have gone down, and the Scout Sentinels have gone down. So, how do you feel about the Scouts going down?
The Scout Sentinels kind of lost a lot of their function when Indirect left the Guard Army competitively.
Okay. And what did it do for Indirect?
So they give out a reroll 1s buff to anybody that shoots the target, but in addition they let you ignore the penalty. Obviously not the unmodified
penalty, which came in, right?
Which came in after, right? So because you're taking less Indirect, you're less inclined to take Scout Sentinels, but also the change to bringing a unit back, being once per game, means people, rather than taking a Scout Sentinel, want to take 3 Armoured Sentinels, so they can bring that whole Armoured Sentinel unit back when it dies. So, and they're pretty much the same points and similar-ish roll. So I think that's.
I mean,
where it is.
55 points for I'm assuming it has the scout ability.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So it's Scout 9, and it is toughness 7, 3-up save, 7 wound model. For 55 points, that's pretty good.
That can just move out, do a cleanse or a. I mean, you could have 3 in your army.
Yeah.
If turn 1 you've got engage in all fronts in cleanse or in containment, you're pretty set.
Yeah.
For like a very minimal investment on just 3 single sentinels.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that we forget now in 10th edition as well, there's no force organisation. Whereas back in the day when there was, you were like, oh, do I really want to spam 3 of this unit at this price point because it takes up 3 slots, not just the points. So it was like you really had to consider your choices because there was 2 factors, the points versus efficiency, and then could I take something else in that slot?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I do actually miss that, I miss those hard choices sometimes. But
Before we move on from Astra Militarum, it's very important to mention the new tools they have in the toolbox.
Yes.
The Tempestus Aquilons.
Oh dear.
Now this unit, 3-inch deep strikes, they're the hotness in all of the guard chats right now because you can do so many good things with them. Obviously you can bring the unit back as well. You can drop down, shoot with the turret thing and then shoot again immediately afterwards. You can rapid ingress 3 inches away from the enemy that's trying to charge something. So you can actually block them.
Can you stop telling people this?
Okay.
Because when I'm going to make a charge, they're going to start doing this. It's going to be well annoying.
You're right. Sorry, mate. But it's an incredible tool to have now. A 3-inch deep strike for a guard army is massive. Absolutely massive.
Yeah. How many points are they?
I think they're like 80 something.
You what?
I might be mistaken.
You what?
I haven't had a chance to look.
Yes, Jordan, with your hand up.
So there's also something important to note about the tank commander is it's gained squadron, the keyword.
Okay.
So it's gained the squadron keyword.
So you can give its orders to itself, essentially,
Yeah.
is what that means. And it can also benefit from some of the synergy strats, but nothing too crazy.
Right.
But it's nice. It's nice.
It's like
the tank commander couldn't order themselves previously.
Well, now he can go, Dave, shoot better. Yeah? Come on, sort it out, put those extra shots in. Right, cool. Got it.
Yeah, so that is nice. That is nice. But Aquilons are the new hotness.
Yeah. Well, I think when a game moves towards more mission play focused, maneuvement based focused, rather than just sheer damage, it's often healthier for the game.
I'm inclined to agree, but they do also do damage. So
I'll take a ball back then. If they're doing everything, then yeah. It'd be interesting to know their points if anybody knows.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up is Black Templars.
Okay. Well, the big man's in here, and it's a red change. How do you feel about that?
Hellbrecht at 130.
Because you weren't happy when he went up previously.
Not really, no.
But he is very, very good.
He is good, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I think my issue with it before was when you compared him to the other chapter masters like Azrael, he was made to look very expensive. And his ability was very, it only worked in Righteous Crusade, or you had to take other support characters. But now the difference in why I might change my opinion now is because the rules on like how many models you can fit in units has also changed as well. Like you could never put in Hellbrecht, 5 Sword Bros, and a Castellan into
An Impulsor.
in an Impulsor, yeah, but now you can, right? So that's a slight change. Same with the Repulsor as well. You were always forced to feel like you had to take a Redeemer. So I think for 130 in the landscape now is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grimaldus gone up 10.
Okay.
I think that probably worth it just.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that you cannot pick his ability if you're in a transport. And also hate that his little minions also take up a spot in the transport. Hate that. But the Castellan and the Marshal coming down, that's okay because they're not quite... People just took captains and lieutenants because you could take the shield. They were just better.
Yeah.
How often you use the Mastercrafted weapon they get is... and they didn't have as many options as the captain.
Yeah. Like
with the Power Fist and whatever else. So them coming down is fine. I think for me, the Crusaders going up 40 points is quite steep.
So the issue we've got obviously is that
The
there
Horde.
is a competitive list floating around
The Horde
that
of them.
has 100 plus Primaris Crusaders.
Yeah.
And it's simply something other armies cannot deal with,
Yeah.
unless, of course, they have some chess clock or something.
Yeah, because the biggest issue for me is Grimaldus giving a unit 5+ feel no pain.
Yeah.
And then the Tannhauser's Bones giving another unit 5+ feel no pain. And you really push with those two units, right? I'd have rather seen Tannhauser's Bones go up more. And I'd also like to have seen Grimaldus go up a little bit more as well.
Yeah.
And then I would have liked to have seen... is the 10 Crusaders gone up, or has the 10 stayed the same?
Nothing else has changed on them. It's literally just that.
Okay, so 10 stayed the same.
Which is
20
good.
up.
Which is good. But when you compare them to Assault Intercessors, I think Assault Intercessors are just better now.
What, 5 Assault Intercessors, or a squad of 10?
Is what, 170?
180.
180, yeah.
Oh, sorry, no, it's
it's
75.
150.
50. It's 150.
150 for...
Oh, they're 75 points. I thought.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, 150. So, and they just hit harder because of the reroll wounds.
It's an interesting one.
And also, all your models have got a 3-up save, not some of them with a 4-up.
Yeah, I think some of this is going to have to depend on what changes for Space Marines as a general faction, and whether you can find the points elsewhere.
Yeah.
But I think if you're running 5 or more of these squads, an extra 200 points, it's just... There's a certain limit where your stat check is no longer a stat check.
Because people still got the guns.
Because people now actually have the guns to deal with it, because you don't have enough models. And I think, maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's probably dead, that horde, because that is too many points to pay. You're going to lose out on at least one brick of those.
Yeah, but it's a shame that if you just wanted to take the one unit, you're penalised because you can take 6 of it. Yeah. Which is more of a... Again, if there was like a Force Org or something, where it really limited the amount of spam on certain units, that might be different.
Force Org would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Bring back the Force Org.
Bring back the Force Org.
Yeah, like, I think, it's an easy thing to say, battle line, you can always take 6 or whatever, but there's difference between battle line units, right?
Yeah.
Khorne Berserkers, obviously Primaris Sword Crusaders, like, maybe it should be bespoke for that faction. I don't know. Cool. So anyway, Blood Angels up next.
So important note here. So these points, if it's a unit that was already in existence before the Codex, then the points are based on what they costed in the index. But if it's a brand new unit, it's the points compared to what they were cost at in the Codex.
That includes Sanguinary Guard.
Includes Sanguinary Guard. What about the characters?
The characters are all... the only one that is the new ones would be the captains.
Right.
Everyone else is all off index points.
Okay, so let's go through this then. So Mephiston is up 25 points. This guy's had a massive upgrade. I think at 125, he's pretty playable.
Yeah, I mean, the Sanguinor is how many points is Sanguinor right now?
140.
140.
Yeah, so 140 for the Sanguinor, relatively similar to Mephiston in terms of his rules, but obviously he has the ability to just turn up. I think that's probably fair for Mephiston.
Yeah, no, I think so. Astrath up 20.
So, I'm not the Blood Angels expert, George is, but dev wounds all the time is mad good.
It is, because it used to be once per game, right, Jordan?
Yeah, once per game on the charge. You
the-
only get it on the charge, though.
I think that is the issue, though, is although it is every time, it's how relevant that is, because you're probably dead the time you go in.
This is the thing, right? He's got some of his own personal buffs, though, hasn't he, Jordan?
He has had a glow up. I mean, 105, I would say, is about right for him, because he's got precision, dev wounds built in.
Yeah.
6 attacks.
I think he's not the issue when we come to talking about the units that you can join as well. I think at 105 he's fine. Lamarte's 110. Again, I think that's probably okay for him. Dante up 10. Again, 130. It now puts it the same sort of point as Helbrecht.
Jordan's still taking.
Well, of course you are. He's still good. Still good at 130. We've got the Blood Angels captain down 5. The Death Company captains are also down because they don't get the similar sort of ability. They get reroll hits and they sort of blow up, don't they, George? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So the captains are basically the same as the normal Space Marine captain. They just can take an Inferno pistol.
Okay, cool.
And then the Death Company captain is obviously its own data sheet in its own right.
Yeah. And then this is where we get a bit tricky. So the Death Company, we won't talk about Death Company Marines because... Well, we'll just really focus on the Death Company Marines with jump packs because that's, I think, the relevant point. 5 Death Company is 130, but 10 is 240.
10 is 240. Okay,
So-
so it's 20 points less than.
So you pay
If you doubled it.
you pay 90 points extra for the. Is that right?
What's the weapon? What's the war gear difference between?
Sorry, you
5
pay
and 10?
you pay 110 points difference.
Yeah.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Jordan. In a 5-man team of Death Company, you can take 2 Power Fists and 1 Eviscerator, and you can take 1 Inferno Pistol or 2.
1 Inferno, 1 Plasma.
And then when you get to the 10, you can only take 1 additional Eviscerator
And 1 additional power fist.
and 1
And
additional.
one additional Power Fist, 1 additional Inferno, and 1 additional Plasma.
So basically, you're paying for the 10-man team.
1 less power fist.
You get 1 less Power Fist. So I think the issue is, how does this unit stack up? I mean, it's down 40 points compared to the previous 10 that everybody took. But you could, in an Eviscerator is essentially a terrible Power Fist. Hits worse, not as strong. So it's kind of like the in-between between a chainsword. It's more like a power weapon.
Yeah.
It's kind of like more like the effectiveness of a power weapon. So everybody before had an Inferno pistol. So that's 10 Inferno pistols and 10 Power Fists.
But I think we can all agree that was a little bit cracked.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is the discussion that we need, and me and Jordan have had pretty heated debates about this. I felt that unit probably, if this codex wouldn't have gone out,
Right.
what would have you done personally to that unit? Let's say there's no Blood Angel codex, we're still an index
Right.
of Blood Angels.
It would have gone up.
You would have gone up.
Yes.
Okay. So that's interesting. How much by?
I mean,
10 for 5?
10 for 5, maybe even 15 for 5. Yeah.
Oh, he's a harsh man.
I'm sick of these Blood Angels. Sick of them.
You're sick of Jordan.
Get them
mate.
out of here.
Yeah. So I think if they would have gone up 10 for 5, 20 for 10.
Yeah.
So if now you start to, let's say that is on point, give or take.
And that's what, 160.
Yeah.
Okay. So the difference in damage we're trying to equate to, if it was 160 before for all Powerful or Infernos, is 30 points less a good representation of what this unit now does?
It's hard to know.
Yeah.
So, because I think the issue is with this unit now is you don't have an ideal target. You're not a blender unit. And because we're still not in a point where you can the difference between a Power Fist and a Chainsword is massive in terms of who do you put that into? Because you can't really, it's really difficult in 10th edition to split your attacks into different units.
Yeah.
Because of coherency and whatever else, in the way that you can only fight through, base to base and things. It's not as easy as going, well, I'll just put my 3 Power Fists and my Eviscerators into this tank, and I'll put the rest of the units into this 5-man team next to it, and I'll try and blend out both. You can't do that anymore. So it's normally now well, I'm kind of efficient, but I'm kind of not. And these are just guffy attacks that are trying to do some chip damage. That's, I think, for me, it's the efficiency thing of where you put that unit. So then Ashtaroth becomes an absolute auto-include, because then at least you get the dev wounds on your chainswords.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
That's for me. I kind of wish they didn't have any Power Fists.
Yeah, in a way. Yeah, then they could be a bit more efficient in terms of their points. It's interesting, right, because you look at Vanguard veterans, and even though Vanguard veterans don't have a Power Fist, they're all the same profile. You know what they can go into and what they can kill.
Yeah.
It's just their price point that potentially might be an issue. Whereas these, how do you balance these?
I think that's one also thing to note as well about the Blood Angels specifically. The Vanguard veterans have gone up, but they've also lost the ability of getting the extra AP from the Apothecary jump pack dude.
Yes.
Sanguinary Priest. The Sanguinary Priest, yeah. So that's a massive blow for a Blood Angel army, is that they're not going to have that access to that unit. So, and if more people are going Sons or Liberators, is it?
Yeah, Liberator Assault Group.
Then obviously they're not going to get access to the extra AP from Gladius.
Okay. So, Jordan, do you think Death Company with 530?
No.
No? Okay, cool.
I think they should be 120.
Okay, 120.
I think because they've got inbuilt reroll hits anyway and reroll charges. So they're a very efficient unit for what they do, but it's just, like you said, it's where do they hit? What is their target now? Because to make them good, they have to have a chaplain anyway, because then they can actually do OC things, do actions, if you need them to as well.
Yeah.
So I think we look at that data sheet. It'll be like when we come to Sangard as well. is they kind of need a character support to make them work, right?
Yeah.
And I think on top of that, again, we've got that detachment bias, because in Liberator they're going to be a lot more potent, but in something like Angelic Host, they've got no real damage buff.
Yeah.
They just go up and down. So it's kind of...
And you want Inceptors for that?
Well...
Yeah. Angelic Inceptor Host. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so next up is Sanguinary Guard. Again, me and Jordan have had multiple heated debates over this. 135 for 3.
So what I'll say, from my point of view, and I don't play Blood Angels, is a 2+ save is underrated in 40k.
Yeah. So I think 135 points. When you look at a Sanguinary Guard, what is the closest data sheet you could probably think off the top of your head?
Like Terminator.
Okay, what else?
Or a Blade Guard.
Yeah. 8 bound.
Oh, 8 bound. So that's a bit heretical for me, but okay. I get it. Red Angels, kind of, yeah.
They're pretty much as quick.
Yeah.
They've got roughly the same amount of attacks.
Yeah.
One unit's got a 3-up, 5-up. One unit's got a 2-up, 4-up.
Yeah.
And they're 135.
That's true.
I actually think they're priced appropriately.
This
Sure, they've lost a lot of stuff. You can't all take an Angelus Inferno Pistol, and nobody was really taking Sangard before. For me now, the issue is Blood Angels have lost a dedicated vehicle-killing unit. Because back in the day, I used to take 10 Thunderhammers, and that used to be my missile. I didn't need las cannons in Ballistus Dreadnoughts, and, you know, 10 Thunderhammer dudes, go and kill that tank. Yeah. Sanguinary Guard, you kill the elite infantry. But now the attack profiles, it's all of them much of a muchness. Vanguard vets, Sangard in Death Company. It's roughly, you know, between 5 and 7 strength, between 1 and 2 AP, and between 1 and 2 damage. It's like, it's just a cluster of essentially the same amount of damage profile that you could then... So it's just whether you want to paint your models red, black, or gold.
Yeah, unfortunately I agree. I mean, I've lost plenty of guard tanks to Jaws Blood Angels and the Death Company, etc. over time. But actually, when I look at this and I think about if we play this game again, there's not a huge amount here that scares tanks.
No.
Jordan?
Yes, Jordan.
I just wanted to say there have been a few FAQs on the Sanguinary Guard in terms of what they can take.
One extra pistol now, right?
They can have an extra pistol. They can also have a mix of spears and swords. So it's just something to consider when you're looking at the unit as well. I don't think it changes much.
No, I think the swords are always better.
Yeah. And I think, like you were saying, in terms of we can't kill vehicles, well, that's why I think Liberator will be the way we go. Because that's going to be our way to kill vehicles now.
Extra strength and lance. And I think that lance and strength combination is going to be absolutely key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, there we go. We'll move on, because obviously some of the enhancements went up, but whatever. So, Demons. Not a huge amount here.
No.
Shalaxi is down 25 points. She was a bit of a beast.
Yeah,
but if 425 is still a substantial amount. My question, Michael, is now can you fit in Shalaxi, and is there a limit on allied demons?
Yeah, so you have to have a battle line demon unit.
And how many points is a unit?
More than 75, I'm afraid.
That's a shame.
Battle line.
That's a shame. That is a shame. Because it'd been nice to be like, oh, just brought Shalaxi along. Whoop.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody would have loved that.
Just Shalaxi?
Like, yeah, cool. Have a Shalaxi.
How many points are 10 Demonettes, so? 100-ish?
Probably 100, 110.
So if she went down 25, is that a problem?
I mean, I don't want to see her in every Chaos Knight and Chaos Space Marine list.
Yeah, true. Yeah, maybe right. I just think she's a badass model. Yeah.
Depends, yeah, it is a nice model.
Yeah. So the Rend Master on Blood Throne is up 15, and this is the thing that procs the extra. Is it damage or
extra
AP?
damage. And
that's
AP,
good.
actually.
Yeah.
And strength, I think.
So it's all of it.
Yeah.
Just have it all.
So you used to spam this, and it was cumulative, which is weird because they could have just changed it from being cumulative.
Now we do also have, Michael, a points decrease on the Beast of Burgle.
Beast of Burgle.
Beast of Burgles are down 10, but the Beast of Nurgle is only down 5, okay? So if you take 2 Beasts of Burgle, they're down 10 points, okay? But if you only take 1 Beast of Nurgle, that's only down 5, okay?
I'm sorry, I was working on this till late.
I think...
Are you taking Burgles?
I'm taking Burgles all the time.
Yeah?
Well, it's funny, right? The Beast of Burgle was a pretty common take.
It was. Is that then like... what's like a multiple of a burgle? Is that
A bungle.
Is the burgle the multiple of a burglar, which is maybe singular?
Yes.
Yeah?
Sure. Mm.
Anyway, there we go. Cool. So,
but they're good.
They are very good.
It's a single model. It drops down. You can pick it up, drop it down again.
Will rob you though.
It will rob you though.
If you've got two of them.
It will burgle you.
Yeah.
For grandfather burgle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's a good points drop for Nurgle for demons players that do like their little burgle demons.
Normally, Nurgles are like the gift of, giving.
Yeah.
These units, now we'll take that back. We'll have that. Have some of that.
It's the opposite of Grandfather Nurgle. It's his twin brother, the kleptomaniac chaos entity.
Oh, God, that was good. Right, cool. That was a nice little gift. Thanks for that, Jordan.
That's all right.
So, crying. It's been a long week.
It's because the Macs have an auto check, a spell check.
Yeah.
And the stuff they come up with. So Nurglings are nurslings.
Right.
Unless you go back and change it.
Okay, nurslings, yeah. So, is this going to help Chaos Demon Army, like mono-faction armies?
I don't think it's going to change them, to be honest. I think the builds that were relying on multiple Ren Masters are obviously going to suffer.
Yeah.
But plenty of successful demon builds don't need the Ren Masters. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of other options in there.
Well, there's quite a lot of monster mashes.
Yeah, and funnily enough, we joke about it, but Burgle's quite popular.
Yeah.
The great unclean ones
are
doing well. Rotigus, Plague Bearers.
Yeah. So
I think the great clean ones, not the great unclean ones. The great clean ones.
Because I remember playing someone at LGT who had a Beast of Burgle in his Death Guard army, so that'll be an interesting ally there potentially.
That is true, and they're cheaper now.
Yeah.
So you can get more of them because you'll have to take the Plague Bearers before you can get the Beast of Burgle in. Because of battle line. Yeah, you have to take at least as many battle line as you do anything else. So battle line for demon allies, battle line unlocks the other demon options you take. It came in last update or the update before. It's actually really annoying.
I can't remember him actually having any Plague Bearers.
Well, maybe he just
stuck a Beast of
burgled
Burgle
you, mate. He burgled you.
He might have. He had some Chaos Knights. Does that count?
Yeah.
He had some Chaos Knights thrown in as well.
No, they don't work for it, mate.
Okay.
You just got burgled.
I got burgled. Anyone else been burgled? Let me know. So, next up then the Chaos Knights. This is more your territory, Michael. It's actually quite good. You play all the factions that I don't.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
It's handy.
So the Knight Abominant is down.
It just keeps going down.
Is down 20. The Desecrator down 15. The Spoiler down 15. And then also the War Dogs all down 5 each.
So I don't know if we've had enough experience of the impact of being able to walk through walls yet.
Yeah.
Because that's probably one of the biggest things for the big knights.
Okay.
Chaos Knights could do it anyway. Mm-hmm. But being able to walk through a wall with a big knight and then walk through a wall with 2 little knights, it's pretty impactful.
Yeah.
Especially with something like a Rampage that can advance and charge.
Yeah.
But the Rampage has not gone down.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The one thing that is weird is the War Dog changes.
Okay.
So the Brigand going down. The Brigand is the one that
gives double guns,
extra AP against the closest target.
He's a good one.
He's fantastic.
Although a lot of people play him wrong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because they put the indirect gun on.
Right.
Which means then there's other closer eligible targets than the ones that
they can't see.
Yeah. A lot of people play that wrong. So don't get burgled when you're at the tabletop. If somebody's got a top gun on their Brigand and you've got a closer unit, it's now eligible to be shot. Because it's indirect. Yes, Jordan.
Talking about Burgle, just so we can clarify, yes, Nurglings are battle line. So that was one battle line that we could say for Nurgle.
Oh, of course, yes. So you can get the Nurslings in.
Nurslings.
Beast of Burgle.
Got it. So you can put Nurslings in for your Beast of Burgle, and it's all gravy.
And you're all gravy.
Cool, love it. All right.
Nurgle gravy.
Again, I think this is interesting. Where if we took a traditional Chaos Knights list, do these drops make it? Okay, now I can put another knight in, or can I drop 2 little ones for a big one?
I think with the War Dog spam,
yeah,
this is enough points to get some much needed allies in.
Okay.
If you don't already have them, so getting those Nurglings in, for example, maybe even being able to afford a Beast of Burgle. Mm-hmm. Yes, Jordan.
So Disgustingly Resilient Podcast has actually come in and said GW fixed the closest and eligible target for indirect in a FAQ it's done on a weapon by weapon basis for brigands.
Ah, right. Okay.
So that's why they went down.
Right.
Because they're better now.
Because they're better.
Yeah.
They've got better. Yeah, but
They're not
people
sick.
were playing that wrong. Thanks, Aidan, for coming on that. That's great. Good little,
It's because he takes them in his death guard.
Of course, he's a filthy animal. That's why.
Yeah, well, they're so good in because their ability just.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can find a way to make them better that is not army specific, like Death Guard or even the Terminator Sorcerer Chaos Space Marines, they just get an extra AP against the target.
Yes.
They're one of the best knight allies.
When also brings in some sort of other gun options as well that you don't normally carry, right? Like, Chaos. They obviously missed out on the Melter.
Yeah, not to mention OC8.
Yeah, that's
on
good.
A vehicle, that's also good.
also
and their battle line.
Mm.
So, if you're playing Pride Nexus, you've got options now.
Yeah. All right, cool. So next up then is CSM. This is a shocker.
I don't think it's that much of a shocker, personally.
No?
No.
I agree with... so Abaddon coming down, I think, is great.
It's nice to see him a bit more.
Yeah. Lord on Disco, we never saw him. Sorcerer and Terminator armor down 10. Yeah, sure.
People just weren't taking... Well, it's funny, right? Because we all thought he was great when the book came out. And I think he is great.
Yeah.
But it's just whether he fits into...
A list now.
The lists, right?
It's sometimes like there's often like tech pieces you want to put in, but it comes to the numbers and you're like, well, I just want to fit this unit in. I'll just ditch that tech piece off. Yep. Whereas you can't just go, I'll just drop 2 models from my unit and take 8 to get the same sort of functionality, but then now include my little tech piece. So often it's those pieces you want to include because they're fun and they give a bit extra spice to the army. You end up sacrificing to try and make your 2K list fit, which I think's, a bit of a shame sometimes. So he's down, which I think's cool. The Vashtor's down 15 as well. Legionary's down 10 points for 10. Cool. I want to see more of these changes. These kind of like, if it's this size, it's more valuable. Like, let's take the Assault Intercessors. 5 is great, 10 is poo. Because you're taking
Most
the
of the
5
time, yeah.
for just the re-roll wounds on an objective, and that's probably the same for Legionaries, right? So it boosts up your captain or your Chaos Lord to get dev wounds on an objective, fish for those devs. That's really where they can start punching above their weight.
Yeah.
But you're not really seeing these bigger squad units. And
Well,
sometimes vice versa.
It's particularly sad for Legionaries because the only thing you get from another 5 models is 5 models. You don't get any more power fists at all.
Right,
or
okay.
anything, you get maybe 1 extra big gun, but that's it.
It's
You're not really
blatant
taking
wounds.
them for the,
Yeah.
and some chainsword attacks, so it's...
Yeah, because it's not like you pay a certain premium for the unit ability, whether you've got 1, 10 or 50,000. That's a power that can then be applied to a leader or multiple leaders, right?
But what I do like is they're not going through all of these armies and blanket saying, oh, if you've got 10, it's cheaper than having 5. They're looking at it properly, like the Wraith Guard.
Individual
Wraith Guard,
basis.
10 is super strong,
Yeah.
but 5, not as good, so we're going to change it on that basis.
Which I think I want to see that more happening.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Okay, Dark Commune is up and the Accursed Cultist up. So that's
Good.
30 points for that wombo combo. So if you're running 3 units of 3, that's a 90-point increase.
Probably still run 1 to 2 units.
Yeah, pretty good, aren't they? The Annihilator's down to 130. That's quite a cheap tank.
Probably don't take it still.
No?
No, because you got the other version, the Destructor,
That's much better,
which
is
gets
it?
extra AP against certain targets, and then you got the Vindicator on top, which is just straight up better.
Yeah, if the Chaos Pred was like the Eradicator rule, reroll hits, wounds, and damage against vehicles,
That would make it worth.
you'd be
yeah,
like, okay,
it'd be
maybe
interesting.
150 then, maybe, because it does the job it is meant to do, right? So Chaos Terminator's down a little bit. Cool. I think we've seen all Terminator sort of units go down a little smidge.
Yeah.
Havoc's down 10. You don't really see them often. Obliterator's down 10. It's cool. Possessed down 5. Possessed obviously down for 10 as well. Raptor's down for 10.
But just for the 10-man unit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Warp Talon's down just for the 5 then, is that?
Just for the 5, it looks like.
Yeah,
And that's because of their ability of they have to completely kill the unit to then go away, right?
Which you're going to do with 10 models,
You probably won't do a 5.
but not with 5
So that's-
necessarily.
Nice little touch point
Yes.
there, yeah.
So I like that a lot. I'm very happy with the changes for an army like Night Lords because I'd like to run 10 Raptors.
Yes.
And now that I know they're cheaper than running 5s,
Yes.
actually might well run 10 Raptors.
That's great. No, that's good.
And Talons, I want to run 5 Talons because
Yeah.
of how the army plays.
Yeah. I think on the whole, pretty happy
I
with those
think
changes.
it's fine, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
But there was a list we wanted to look at from
Yes.
LGT.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's
I'll
look
put this
at
up.
Liam VSL's list, that one LGT with CSM.
Okay, so in his list, as Veterans of Long War, we've got the Chaos Lord with the War Master's Gift, Cypher, Fabius Bile, Huron Black Heart, Lucius the Eternal, because this was an Emperor's Children list. 10 Cultists, 2 units of 5 Legionnaires, 2 units of 5 Noise Marines, 1 Chaos Rhino, another Chaos Rhino, 2 Predator Destructors, 2 units of 5 Chosen, and 2 units of 2 Obliterators. So overall, he gained 20 points.
Cool. Okay. Fine. And I wouldn't say that Liam's list is an example of one of those spam,
traditional meta,
super strong stuff lists. Yep. It's just a very well constructed list, commanded very well.
Yeah, it's great. Fair play.
So I think that's fair.
Yeah.
The changes there are fair.
Yes, Jordan, you got your hand up.
Do I have a question for you, Mike, from Chris Williams? Mm-hmm. Do you think Disco Lord is viable now?
So what's it gone down to? 175? Ugh. It's a tough one. That's a tough one. Time will tell. I don't think it is. I think the main problem with the Disco Lord
is... Take it for 150?
Maybe. Doesn't have a detachment that is, for him. Because he's not even a demon vehicle for the Soulforge detachment. He's mounted.
That's weird. Yeah.
So...
Yes, Jordan.
Toilet Dice has just gifted 50 Vanguard Tactics memberships. You absolute legend.
Do you know, I love it when you get your dice in the toilet.
Look, any time I get the dice in the toilet, I'm a happy man.
You are. You really are.
I'll run around the house and I'll be like, got the dice in the toilet, guys.
It's all good. We've got more members. Thank you, John. You absolute legend. Thank you so much. Yeah. John might be here next week. Who knows?
Cool.
Who knows? Who knows?
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, good. Looking forward to seeing you, mate. You can see the new studio because John saw it before. Yeah. Now it's some big updates. Yeah, coming. Anyway, so we'll have a very quick word from our first sponsor of today. It's my pleasure to announce that Army Painter have sponsored Vanguard Tactics. We've decided to collaborate with Army Painter because they've made the process of painting your models so simple. From their Fanatic range to help you identify your shadow, mid and light tones, to their wet palettes that make the application of paint so much smoother. The process has never been simpler. So if you're looking to upgrade your painting skills today and have the tools at your disposal to help that process, then check out the Army Painter.
Okay, we are back.
All right, so on the whole, I think we're agreed. Chaos Space Marines, good changes there. Yeah. Right. One of the top meta factions at the moment. Everybody's playing them because, and this is a faction that we've seen like, oh, what are you? I'm Dark Angel, Gladius, Ironstorm, this, that, or other. Yeah. What am I? I'm just Dark Angels, Blue Marines, It's, what is it? Oh, I've just got...
Look, it's Azrael
plus stuff. Right. It's Azrael in a Space Marine detachment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go through this. The Lion, down 15 points. 285.
Okay. So the Lion and similar models, for balancing issues, have one major problem. In your sort of average game with maybe less experienced players,
they're a problem.
They're insanely powerful.
Yeah.
But when you get into that tournament level, regular tournament goers, you can deal with them quite easily.
Yeah.
He never really trades
efficiently.
Or he doesn't necessarily get his points back in terms of what he kills.
No. He's also not a force multiplier.
No.
Which is different to like the Triumph, for example, where it's a force multiplier, where at least you get the force of the multiplication.
Indeed.
You do.
Yeah.
But you don't get that with the Lion. No. He's just a big sword. He's a big old sword, and it's where you can stick it is what you know. In a night game, he's like, great, cool.
Send me in.
Charge me. I'll take it.
Yeah.
But, a cheeky grenade strat sometimes and a tank shot can also be his demise, which is a bit sad. I don't know, it's weird, like if they had I know he's got like a Feel No Pain, hasn't he, against mortal wounds and stuff?
Yeah, he'd get 4 up Feel No Pain against mortal wounds.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we're getting off topic a bit, but 185...
You might, 285, you might see him more. Which should be nice.
I think you're even getting in the realms of like competitive plays this much, but in narrative plays this much.
Well, they could just give everything in competitive play a Legends points value, and then everybody who's not doing tournaments could use that.
Yeah, interesting.
Potentially.
So, Azrael, though, up 10. I mean, 100... This guy is, in my opinion, and it is just my opinion, still undercosted.
I'd pay 150 for him easy.
This guy has got, like, every ability under the sun you could ever want.
Yeah.
Have a CP, Michael.
Oh, thanks.
You don't even need to roll a dice.
Oh, cool.
With Junith, I've got to roll a leadership check. It's a 50-50. You just get one.
Fantastic.
I had to pay 90 points for my Junith, who literally does nothing apart from stand on a big old base. You also get sustained hits
Oh, thanks.
for the unit.
Oh, I like it.
Any unit he joins, sustained hits, mate.
Great.
And, while you're at it, have a 4+ invulnerable save,
Oh, awesome.
which is the same amount as if you brought a librarian. How many points is a librarian?
65, I think.
Right, so 65 points. How many points is worth a CP to you?
What, every turn?
Yeah, every turn. So 5. So how much is worth double the amount of CP you normally get in a game? Like the resource that's really useful, you get double of it. How much is that worth?
That's an interesting question for chat, actually, and the comments below. How much would you pay for a model that just gives you a CP every command phase, in addition to what you get?
Well, right now, I'm currently thinking about paying 250 points just for a 6
On your Miracle Dice.
on my Miracle Dice, which is kind of like a CP.
Bit better than a CP, but yeah, fair enough. I get you. I think I'd pay 100
Points.
points for a model that just gives me a CP every turn.
Yeah. I think you
Because
do.
you still have a model that has a base.
Well,
It
put
just sits on your own objective.
So this is exactly what I'm doing with Junith. Junith cost me 90,
Yeah.
and on a, well, slightly better than a 50-50 because she's got, I think, 6+ leadership.
Right.
She sits on my home field objective for 90 points, and she's like, here, Steve, have a CP. Here, Steve, have a CP.
Yeah.
It's 90 points.
Yeah.
Right, so then we take that factor in, we combo it with, well, what does a librarian do? He gives you a 4+ field invuln.
Cool.
Well, that's a pretty decent ability. And then sustained. That's another good ability.
Excellent.
And now we haven't even factored in the fact that he's got a 6 sword and a 6 gun, and he actually mercs stuff in combat.
Yeah, he's got a Watcher as well.
Yeah, let's not forget that. So I think he should be up there with the Helbrecks, the Sigismunds. No, he's dead. Never
It's
forgotten.
okay. It's okay.
Never forgotten. The Dantes.
Agreed.
He should be at least 130.
At least.
Yeah.
And on it, everyone in the chat is saying 150. There's people saying 50, but
50. Oh, come on.
I think
Everybody's taking that unit.
But that might be for the CPs. They might have said like 50 points for the CPs.
True.
Because that was the question we asked chat. Yeah.
So I think probably about 130 to 150 would probably be about the right price point for him, right?
Right. So the Ravenwing command squad is down 10. Billy Jean to walk past. Feel free to watch my nice light effect though. Yeah. So Ravenwing command squad down 10. Samael down 15. That's cool. Samael should not be getting close to 115 points.
The same as Azrael, absolutely not.
He should be in the problem is, Michael, you know what his problem is?
What? He's on a jet bike.
He's on a jet bike. That is like a jet, it's like a jet bike tax. You're in a jet point. Sorry, mate, but you are beep. That's it. It's game over for you.
Yeah, you can't park there.
In fact, you can come for free.
Yeah.
This is a problem for you.
Yeah.
You've got this vehicle that is just worse than being on foot. Now, I'm obviously being a bit facetious, everybody. Just take it as it will. But Samael should be this character that's like 150 points. He's on a jet bike. If he hits you, you should really feel it. You should know about it.
He should slap. And he should have rules that slap.
And his gun should blast you off the table. And
yeah.
Anyway, so are we going to see him? Probably not.
Probably not. I mean, we do have a few Ravenwing points drops, right? So amongst this and some of the units available in the Space Marines that have had some drops as well. So we've got the Ravenwing Command Squads dropped, and Samael's dropped. The Vengeance, I think, is just garbage anyway, because of the damage on its weapon profile. Not to be too negative, obviously, but it needs more of a points drop, I think.
Yeah.
For its weapon damage, because it used to be damage 3.
Yeah.
But now it's damage 2.
Yeah.
And it only has a few shots.
Deathwing Knights up 15 points. So most lists are taking 15. So that's up 45 points. And then Azrael is up 10. That's only up 55 points.
Drop a unit of scouts.
It's fine. That's not I think we probably should have seen a bigger increase here.
Can I just say...
You can't.
Sorry. I think the reason why is probably if we look at the Gladius builds...
Yeah.
That's now going to, when we come to Space Marines, that's probably where the Deathwing Knights are being spammed, right? Is in those sort of
Gladius,
Space Marine builds. So I think once we add that on top as well.
I think it's probably worth doing that now.
All right, cool. So we do Space Marines now, yeah?
I think it's probably worth it. We probably should have looked at Space Marines in the future before we look at the
Have we got any other Space
Yeah,
Marine
agreed.
factions? We've got Space Wolves as well.
Yeah, well, let's just look at Marines first, and we can always do Space. So let's have a quick look at this. Now, the Biologus is up 15. This was taken in every single Gladius, and this is the detachment thing here. Because I know this hurts you a little bit, doesn't it, Michael?
I'm very sad.
I can see it in the face.
I'm very sad about this. I'm very sad.
Yeah.
I'm wearing this excellent Gambit Gaming hoodie for a reason.
Yes, and it is excellent.
And it's not because I play Gladius.
No. The Biologus, 70 points. Now, lethal hits is a good ability.
It's all right.
How much is it worth, is the question, on a model. And I think that's really what we're often getting to, isn't it? Like, I'm sometimes thinking of putting a Palatine in my list. Oh, it's like 50 points for lethal on a unit of Battle Sisters or something. I'm like, I probably don't take, there comes a points cost, right, of what that is worth.
But you hit stuff with a sword. The Biologist literally does nothing except lethal hits.
Yeah.
And if you happen to kill someone in combat, it gets to OC9.
Yeah.
And that is it. I feel it's just too harsh.
Now, I agree. Yeah. So the issue is that it's normally combined with, which has also gone up as well. Let's talk about that quickly, because it is the wombo combo of things that happen. Jordan, you said you... Oh, yeah.
Firestorm,
so
Fire Discipline.
Fire Discipline is what it's combined with. So this gives you critical hits on 5s and also sustained. Now, does it give crits on 5s and Devastator Doctrine?
Yeah, in Dev Doctrine, and then gives you sustained all the time.
Right, okay. So I would have rather have seen this go up another 15 points. So this was a 55 point, or maybe meet halfway. Maybe the Biologus goes up 5. Cool, 5 points, you're not really going to hurt. Yeah. And then this goes up 20 points.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Because the Biologist has gone up 15 points and Fire Discipline's gone up 10.
Should be the other way around.
It should be absolutely the other way around, if not more, as you say. 5 points on the Biologist.
Yeah.
And 20 or whatever on Fire Discipline.
And then the Eradicators have gone up 10 in 10 as well.
And that just makes me sad.
Is that right? Is that correct on there?
10 and
What's that,
20?
No, it says, is that a typo you've done?
What's that, sorry?
The Eradicators.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the Space Marine one.
Yes.
Eradicators.
Eradicators are a Space Marine unit. Jordan.
Yeah. So 3 for 100 and 6 for 200.
That's correct, is it?
That is correct, yeah.
Oh, right, the plus 10 should be plus 20, essentially.
Sorry, yes.
That's right, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, so the plus 10 for 3 models. Are they worth it? I don't know that the points are enough to change anything, probably, because you could probably rejig a couple of bits, like drop an enhancement here or there. But it's a shame, again, that this unit's gone up because they're really good in Fire Discipline.
Yeah.
In Fire Discipline. You may as well rename the Gladius Task Force to Fire Discipline, let's be real.
Yeah.
But in Gladius.
Yeah.
Yes.
After we've done Space Marines, we've got a super chat to read out.
Okay.
We'll go through Space Marines, but I just wanted to say, because there has been a comment about it, so
right.
we will get to it, don't worry.
So Vanguard vets have gone up 5 in 10.
Baffling.
Yeah.
Absolutely baffling.
And again, is that because everybody's taking them in Blood Angels, but Blood Angels don't get the ability of the Sanguinary Priest,
yeah.
so it's looking at sometimes these things in conjunction. Of course, they can be missed, right?
Yeah.
Like, it is,
how many units is this we're looking at?
And we all sit here, and you all do at home as well. You're all armchair experts. We are. Apart from on a stool.
Yes.
But it is, like, credit to the team at Games Workshop. I know how hard they work, and genuinely, they do a fantastic job. And our criticism here is sometimes just like, this is our opinion because we're passionate about the game. Yeah. They're happy for us to do that as well. But, I just want to preface this. We do love you guys, and we do think you do an incredible job. So, yeah.
Yeah. But Vanguard vets probably shouldn't have gone up. Just saying. Yeah.
And sort that Fire Discipline out.
Sort that Fire Discipline out.
Yeah.
I want my Eradicators and Firestorm units to not go up because Firestorm's not doing very well.
Yeah.
So, in fact, let's be real here. The win rate of generic Space Marines, beyond Dark Angels and the other non-Codex compliant chapters, is not good. It's like 45 or less.
I think someone said it was 36 at the start of
there you go.
Chat.
So,
yeah.
What's happening?
Well, mate, don't worry about it because your ATV's down.
I mean, that is pretty good.
And your tactical war suit, that's down 15.
Excellent. Terminators.
Terminator's down 5 and 10.
Shoehorn the first company detachment in.
Yeah. Suppressors are down. I mean, there's a lot of things that are down. All the speeders are down.
So this was the Raven Wing thing I was kind of alluding to
Yeah,
earlier.
I still think 150 points for a Thunderstrike still a lot.
It's a lot, yeah.
The Hellstrike at 15 points. And I think if their rules were like the Castigator rule, which is if I shoot you, I get +1 AP, then all of a sudden these start...
I mean, the Hellstrike literally is that, but only against infantry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you don't often need extra AP against infantry. You often need extra AP against the big tough thing with a 2-up save like a Land Raider.
Yeah.
That's just armor contempted because it's a right chump, you know. So, yeah.
But I agree. It's difficult with the speeders.
And I think the 5 assault intercessors with jump packs going up 10 points is probably warranted, but not at the current win rate that Space Marines are at.
Agreed.
And I think I would love to see. I am tired of Dark Angels just kind of, you know, being Ironstorm or Gladius or whatever. I would rather him just have to play, because like let's go back to the Dark Angels real quick. Like what makes Deathwing Knights really good? Advance and charge, right?
Yeah.
So they're probably fine at their points cost if they didn't have advance and charge, which you get from Gladius. If I'd rather Dark Angels have to play Dark Angel stuff and Black Templars have to play Black Templar stuff, and it's a bit unfair because Black Templars have only got like the one detachment, right? And Blood Angels now have got a codex, Dark Angels obviously got a codex, Space Wolves are still index, but that would be healthier because of the detachment system that we have. It's like, hey, look, you're taking this. No, you're not having a bit of Ironstorm or a bit of advancing chargey mechanic.
It'd be much easier to balance.
It would.
Much easier to balance. I'd also prefer that they had their own army rule instead of Oath of Moment.
That'd be cool, yeah.
Because I think that, again, much easier to balance.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
but
yeah.
That's...
Or even like points for like Dark Angel points. And these are the units that you can take and these are the points. So like, let's say there's a certain unit that works particularly well in Dark Angels, like a Blood Angel jump pack, for example, because it can be led by like Dante and other things. Maybe, yeah, sure, they're a little bit more expensive perhaps than an Ultramarine one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, anyway, so some different ideas there. So let's get on to the next one, which is now Death Guard. What was the super chat we wanted?
Yeah, super chat, thank you. So the super chat is from, let me scroll up, Azuma. Why did they ruin 20-man Crusaders while Orcs can field 150 boys? Make it make sense. Templars did not need more nerfs than Dark Angels, Blood Angels, or the Furries, referring to Space Wolves.
I think because there is a particular competitive build that's very strong, of just 120 Crusaders.
Yeah.
And that's not even a unit issue. Like we said, I think I sort of touched on that with boost up the Tannhauser's bones, boost up the 5+ feel no pain you get from Grimaldus, and all of a sudden it doesn't look quite as appealing. Because, you're not quite the stat check you were, or have some sort of limitation on how many units you can take or something.
Yeah, I mean, you can still take one unit, but I think it's... Once you start getting into the why has my army had this done to it when another army has this done to it, that I don't think that's the right attitude to have when it comes to these points changes.
The issue that I always found with running a 20-man unit, when it's really cool, I did like it from a thematic point of view, but as soon as somebody has like one of those abilities that's, oh yeah, sorry mate, -2 move, advance in charge off your unit.
Definitely never done that to you before.
We haven't froze, I just wanted to confirm that, guys.
As soon as you've got one of those abilities, you may as well have that points cost as 0.
That's true.
Just sit on your back foot objective. Stay there, you lot. Just screen. You may as well just deploy them screened out and assume you're never going to move it.
Yeah.
That's what I should have done, anyway. But that's not cool. So then all of a sudden you're like, I got 3 units, and you're like, actually, my one little ability is not quite as...
Yeah.
You can slow down a little bit. So let's move on to Death Guard.
And we'll talk about Orks when we get to the Orks as well.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So the Putrefier is down 10.
Okay.
What does he do?
He's like the grenades guy.
Okay.
That lets you do grenades for free. But I think he's pretty good, right? He gives you lethal on 5s.
I'll check the
mistaken?
rules for you guys.
All right.
You sure he's the lethal on 5s guy?
Mortarion down it's a 300.
Yeah, I mean, Morty, you saw him, I think, a bit less in competitive lists, but he might come back.
Well, the thing is, he had a big change because he ignores modifiers, right? Which is why you normally, and obviously I'm speaking from an expert Death Guard player here.
Obviously.
But if it was me, I'm like, okay, I've got this cool guy, ignores all modifiers. Well, shooting indirectly is a modifier. If I have him near these 3 indirect tanks, that's pretty much the only vehicle I'd probably take because it's very one of few that I actually have access to. I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden the blanket rule comes in to go, you can't hit on 4s anyway. All of a sudden Morty's like, hey, ignore... Oh,
you missed anyway.
Oh, so, yeah. His use became less... I mean, and the thing is, though, you also don't want Mortarion as this, like...
Artillery commander.
Yeah, he's not like a spotter, is he? He should be the one leading the front of the charge, smashing stuff to pieces. You know, that's how you want him to fight. But whether he does that at 300 points now, I don't know. You know, obviously, if Aiden's in the chat... Let us know, are you taking him? Is this an option for you, Aiden? Or other Death Guard players, out there? So, Death Shrouded down.
Weird. Really weird.
I mean, all Terminators are down, though, aren't they?
Yeah,
well,
but not Blightlord Terminators.
Yeah, but they're because they're OP, mate.
They are pretty strong with their 1 damage attacks. For
Don't knock it, okay? Do you know what I think that the reason why they're peak is because everyone's taking Death Guard, the old... Oh, screw it. What are they called?
I don't know what
Deathwing
you're on
Knights.
about, mate. Deathwing Knights.
Reduce damage by 1.
Oh yeah, Deathwing Knights do that. Yeah.
Blight Lords don't care.
He's got it.
Exactly.
He's got it. You don't have to worry about -1 damage.
We're like, we don't lose.
Your damage is rubbish anyway.
We don't lose any efficiency. Yes, Jordan, you got your hand up.
We have just been gifted 10 Vanguard Tactics memberships from Tattoo Tabletop.
What a legend.
Absolute legend. So, cheers,
James,
mate.
looking forward to seeing you on Monday. James going to be here.
Yes, I know.
Yep. Yeah. We just said that, Billy. All right, there we go. Have it. Next up is... Yeah, I think just to recap, I think Blight Lords could have come down.
Look, don't come after him on Reddit, please. He doesn't actually think Blightlord are good.
No, that'll be... No, because...
It's too late now. It's been...
No, Michael.
Yeah.
Some people do understand what sarcasm is, but I'm glad you've spelled it out for the people that don't.
That's what, exactly.
Maybe there's like a disclaimer. Stephen, sarcasm.
This was a joke.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Anyway, so Drukhari. Yeah, Drukhari up next. A lot of red.
Yeah.
Drukhari is in a spot at the minute with the mission that it plays it very well. It's got a lot of stuff. And I think it suffered from like the admech effect where everything just became like too cheap, but it's not really an issue with, they just need stronger, powerful rules, right?
Yeah.
You can't just keep making stuff cheaper, right?
No.
It doesn't really work. So but now they are really starting to play well with the mission now. I mean, the Archon at 85 points, okay, Drazar at 85, Lilith up 10, like 95 for Lilith. She can be very good, but she can also do nothing.
She can be very good.
I
mean, these are good units.
They are.
Gone up.
I mean, it's good to see that they haven't started to encroach in the like 105s, and I think that would be too far because they are easy to kill.
Yeah.
I think the Court of the Archon going up 10 now with the Archon, that's like up a 20-point increase there for that sort of unit. Incubi going up, and there were a lot of people were running 30. I saw a lot of those sort of lists.
It's the hardest hitting unit they've got.
Yeah.
And the problem is it's a bit like the Jump Back Assault Intercessors for Space Marines. It's the only unit really that does that job well. Yeah. Which is why it was so common. And now we've got Incubi. They're the only unit that does damage in combat. And now they've gone up. Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out now with, Mandrake's up a little bit. I think 70 points for an infiltrating unit's okay with Offie. Is that what we got, Uppy Downy?
Uppy Downy, yeah.
So that's, I mean, 70 points is fine for that on paper anyway. Reavers at 65, like we've already said, even if it can move and get you engaging, for 65 points is okay. It's cheap enough to, I lost a 65-point unit, I can move block with it. It's got utility at 65. I think you're not losing or winning games because it's gone up 5 points.
No. Drukhari is just always going to be one of those armies that just requires a lot of technical prowess and skill to play, and that's not going to change just because you make them cheaper. It's
nice to see that the 10-man... Can you take units, mandrakes and 10s?
I don't know.
You can.
So it's good to see that the 10s haven't gone up, and it's just the MSUS element which is being nerfed, which I do agree with. I think that's... Yeah. Because that can be a stat check in itself, is when you've got an army of just MSU.
Yeah.
Yes, and speaking of which, that's coming up next, right? Yes, Jordan.
We have just had St. Celestine gift 5 Vanguard Tactics memberships as well.
Oh, thank you.
Absolute legends.
How many people got watching?
733.
Wow.
Well, thank you for watching.
Thank you, everybody. If you haven't hit that like button, please do. It just helps us make us feel good if we get lots of likes.
Yeah.
Just a bit of a dopamine hit.
I'll look at it and I'll go,
cool. We've got some likes.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. But your comments mean a lot more to us. So comment what you're really excited about, maybe what you're disappointed with. Let's have a healthy, debatable discussion, okay? And before we move on to GSC, Monster unfortunately has an effect on me, so I need to quickly use the bathroom, so I'll have a quick word from my next sponsor. The days of hiding who you are, being ashamed of your hobby, or the things that you're interested are well over. Which is why at Gambit Gaming, they've brought out a high-quality cotton t-shirt, which is faction inspired, so no matter where you go, there is a t-shirt for every occasion. Whether it's getting ready to go to the coffee shop with your mates, checking out the local gaming store, or maybe heading out to a tournament, they'll have a faction inspired t-shirt perfect for you.
All right, Mike, so while Stephen is sorting himself out, how are you feeling about the points changes so far? And what's been your favourite change up to where we've got to now?
Favourite change? I've enjoyed the CSM changes quite a lot. They've been quite nice. Space Marines has been the most upsetting, probably.
Yeah.
As a player of the Space Marines.
Are we back live?
We are,
We are indeed.
Okay,
yes.
cool. Okay.
We have actually had a super chat from Disgustingly Resilient Podcast. Clipped, posted on Reddit, assembling the troops, we will never forgive you, Death Guard Satan.
Death Guard Satan. Yeah.
He's down the back of your shirt next.
Your shirt, yeah.
No, it says Beast of Burgle.
Beast of Burgle.
Right. Okay, so speaking of MSU, it's time for Seb, it's your faction. The guys with 4 arms. 3 or 4?
They
6,
do
5?
have 4 arms, yeah.
Do they? I thought it was 3.
Yeah. So
do they want 4?
Yeah, that's the ultimate aim, is to have
4 arms.
6 limbs.
Right.
4 arms, depending on what kind of creature you are.
Okay, cool. So the Genestealer Cult is up next. It's all green from here. It is go, go, go. And I've played against this army. And they already got a lot. And they're getting even more. I think... did we have a list to look at here?
We don't have a list, but I know Jake's list, or not Jake's, Innes Wilson's list,
yeah.
Has gone down 60 points.
Yeah, and it is basically you get an extra character for freezies.
What I find crazy about this is the units that you take a hell of a lot of
have gone down.
Yeah. So these Acolyte hybrids with the auto pistols and hand flamers, those going down seems crazy to me because they're the backbone of the list.
What I'd have liked to have seen here is the Acolyte hybrids of auto pistols. This is the combat unit. 10 coming down to 130, 100% agree with.
Yeah.
The 5, which just basically sits on your home field objective, gets you a CP and can come back. 65 points is probably fine for that. Because it's on a 4-up CP.
Yeah.
So 65 points is fine now. 130 for 10, probably fine. It's the hand flamer unit. This is the issue for me. The 5-man team and the 10-man team were probably okay at 70 and 140.
Yeah, so the most ridiculous combo that you get with this unit, right, is that the Ridge Runner shoots you, and then these guys can go in after getting out of a truck, and they can hit you with however many D6 flamers.
They don't need to come out of the truck if you're already on an objective.
No, that's true. If you're already on an objective, yeah.
They get 4 rerolls to wound.
4 rerolls to wound with all their flamers, which are now AP1 ignores cover.
Yeah. I think they were fine at
Bonkers.
I think they were fine at their previous points at 75 and 150. The neophyte hybrids again. This unit, I think they give you sticky. They can grow back as well.
Fine.
Yeah, they're okay. I mean, 65 points for 10. They've actually put out quite a bit of damage for some of their like combo of guns. This is the unit that gets the most benefit of being in a one of those trucks.
Truck, right? Yeah.
Yeah. The Patriarch coming down 10 is good, I think. I think that did need to come down. Nobody was really taking the Jackal Alphas either. The Benefactor coming down, yeah, cool.
Primus and Icon Ward. They're really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. But they're not often taken, but they're good in the other detachments. Aberrants coming down. This is interesting. 5 Aberrants down. This is like the 5 have come down. They're now playable at 135. Which is good to see, because 150 was too much. Atalan Jackals probably didn't... What were they, 90 points for a scout moving unit?
Yeah.
With stealth built in?
They didn't synergise with a few of the detachments, right, because they're mounted and such. And they don't tend to get the leaders that you can get with the other squads.
I think the issue is there's an argument to agree with all these things. But you get so much, and because their army rule is either good or terrible.
Depending on whether you roll a 5 or more.
Yeah, or a 4, if it's in the first couple of turns. Yeah. And obviously the Jackal Alphas or the Jackals, because they've got Scout, you can throw them away quite early. So if you've got 2 units, you can pretty much guarantee your unit's going to come back, right? You should anyway. Not guarantee, obviously, it's on a 4-up, but if you've got 2 units, 1 unit should come back.
Yeah. Well, it's an army that's already great at doing the mission because it's got so much stuff. But when you try and score points to the mission, you normally give up a squad because it dies. Here, you don't give up anything because it potentially can come back.
And also the battle line aspect with the secret mission change. And we'll quickly cover secret mission changes. Basically, now in secret missions, you cannot score in battle round 5. So there's none of this like huge, oh, well, I've gone second, I can score max on primary, and I've got my secret mission, get wrecked, you've lost. So what do you think, Michael? Is it enough?
So you've only got turns... basically 2, 3, 4
to
score primary. You can't score turn 5 primary except for the secret mission points.
And you can be drawing or losing in order to take a secret mission.
Yes. So this, I mean, it completely gets rid of the second person. Well, it doesn't completely get rid of the second player bonus, but it massively nullifies the going second bonus to doing a secret mission. Because going second, you could step off all the objectives and know that you can get 30 to 40 points in the last turn, whereas now you only get 20.
Yeah.
So if you step off the objectives too much, or if your opponent pressures your primary too much, actually a secret mission can lose you the game.
Yeah. And I think, though, if it is going to be very mission dependent. So if you know that you're playing like Take and Hold or Scorched Earth.
Scorched Earth.
Where you can score like, just 10 consistently. You can let your opponent also score those 10. So you get to that point where you're drawing. And then you go, cool, secret mission.
Yeah.
And then you really put the foot on the gas to deny primary for your opponent.
Yeah.
And that's when... So I don't know if it's really enough.
Yeah, I think it's changed from... If you go second in your secret mission, instead of trying to go second and conserve your units, you go second and you try and hammer your opponent's primary. At the cost of your units, because you don't need to hold objectives at the end of the game. You just need to stop your opponent holding them. Unless, of course, you're playing the secret mission that requires you to hold an objective. And actually, maybe that makes that secret mission, in particular, less of an attractive option to a lot of armies.
But a lot of people were just going for the battle line one, weren't they?
Yeah, it was also
Or
the whole
Warlord.
three objectives.
Yeah.
Because then you get your primary points as well.
You both just named 3 out of the 4. You go, it's just the one. And this one.
Well, so it is just...
what Michael was saying in terms of the popularity of the stack, I'm on about there's certain factions that can particularly build for, like GSC, aren't you, have a battle line unit in your backfield, or same with...
Necrons and the Warlord and stuff.
Yeah, because it can all, move after it's, deep strike down within 3 or whatever,
Yeah. But they'll be less attractive overall.
Yeah.
And you won't be able to just dig in and score loads of points at the end of the game, which is great for...
Yeah, well, that's what you can't
everybody.
do is now, cool, do you know what, mate, have the table for 3 turns of the game and then just score 40 points in one go.
However,
yes,
I actually think they maybe should have changed it so that only the player going second doesn't get to score their turn 5 primary points. I think that could have been an interesting twist on it, because you can easily stop a secret mission.
Oh, because if you've gone first,
If you've
right?
gone first.
Yeah, because providing you've got units of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not a fan of them anyway, so
that's fair.
yeah. I think if you've gone third, you can do the secret mission. Cool. Right, so Grey Knights up next. The Brotherhood Terminators are down 10. So again, Terminator change, but not for the 10-man unit, only for the 5s. Purgator's down for both 5 and 10, and Paladin's down for 5, but not 10. What's the unit with the Interceptors?
Interceptors.
Don't see them.
The sort of teleport unit.
Don't see them much, do we?
No, it's because strikes tend to be just more efficient.
Yeah.
Because you can up and down already, so why do you need to move 12 inches?
And Purifiers haven't changed.
No.
So.
A strike's battle line.
Yeah, they're
Strike's
battle line,
battle
yeah.
line.
But
And
the interceptors aren't.
That's right,
yeah.
Right, okay.
The Interceptors have got the jump pack, basically, yeah.
Yeah, but because you can automatically advance 6 inches all the time,
Yeah.
you don't need a jump pack.
Yeah. So then we've got Agents. Yeah, I mean, look. Does it really change the build?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think people are still taking the Grandmasters, aren't they, and the Nemesis Dread Knights.
I mean, maybe more likely to spam 5 model Terminator squads. They're cheaper now. So it might give you a little bit of space for an enhancement or something.
Yeah. But still 200 is expensive because you want the 10s you can grow back and you get the lead ability. Like if you're using Drago's ability to... And also their Chapter Masters, whatever they're called, Grandmasters, are a once per game rights of battle equivalent, not per turn. So you really want a big go turn, don't you?
Yeah.
Voldus gives you -1 to hit, so that's... You know, if you're going to Mr. Demos, you want it on a big... Is that what it's called, Mr. Demos? Where you
Mr. Demos, yeah.
So I don't think it changes the landscape for Grey Knights.
No, same.
But equally, they're doing pretty well at the moment, as they are.
Yeah.
The issue is, is this significant enough in order to change the unit choice? And I think people are going to still take their competitive build, and Grey Knights still function as they are.
Yeah, and it's interesting. This is another faction where we don't know how hard the secret mission change is going to affect them.
That's true.
Because they're one of those uppy-downy sort of armies. So we shall see.
Okay, so next up is Agents. Huge changes here. Mate, you're done.
I'll have to put those riot police back in the box.
They're up 15.
I had 30 of them ready to go.
I know you did.
Put in
It's
every
33
single
actually.
Imperium army. 33, you're right, yeah, the dog. Yeah, rightly so.
Do you know what's interesting about Agents, though?
What?
And have you got the codex, by the way, for Agents?
No, we've got one here.
Have we?
Yeah.
So, the Battle Sisters
Yeah.
are still 115 points. They haven't gone down. But the Immolator hasn't gone up.
Yeah.
I want to check if I can put my Battle Sisters from my army in an Immolator that is from the Agents.
Probably not, unfortunately. It's probably keyworded
Agents.
to requisition Battle Sisters or something.
Yeah, need to check that
Or
though.
Ordo Hereticus.
But if it still strips cover, it's a nice cheeky combo. I do like that a lot for Agents, yeah. I mean, there's not much to say there, is there really?
No.
Put your police away.
Put the police away. It means you're less inclined to use them in other armies.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the state is not changed for an agent's army, but it has changed for ally in them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so Imperial Knights now. Can this Rex up 15? Well, he was in a lot of Imperial lists, wasn't he? So
Was, yeah.
it's like, can this Rex, he's like, I'm up, I'm down. Just can't quite, he's had more changes than, something that has a lot of changes. So, it's like I'd be so good at jokes if I could just think of the next bit.
Yeah.
But I always then just...
I feel like Blackadder always used to make those jokes.
Yeah. Right, so next up, the Knight Errant. Down 15. The Knight Gallant down 20.
Sure.
The Castellan down 15. Valiant down 20.
Not quite down to 500 yet, so we can't put it as an ally.
Well, that's handy.
Bring back the good old days of
Next it'll
everybody
be
having a Castellan.
501.
Yeah.
501.
Yeah, I don't think there's any impactful changes here.
No.
Maybe you'll see a Castellan more often in the Knights army.
Yeah.
Because it's getting relatively close to the cost of some of the normal sized Knights.
Yeah. The problem is, if you've got the tools to deal with it, it's just dead.
Yeah.
A couple of Lancers, a couple of Tyrannofexes, and all of a sudden you've got a very bad day.
In the same army.
Yeah,
same
of
army.
course. Yeah,
Why not?
obviously. Yeah. Right, Votann. Votann. 5 Hearthguard down 10 points.
I like that change a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah, because
I like 5 Hearthguards, actually.
well, there's builds where you put them in the land fortresses, right? And they get the reroll wounds and stuff. And hopefully we'll see another avenue to explore with Harker. Because usually you just see them in a 10 with a character and they drop down and nuke something. But seeing 5s in land fortresses that's probably, I assume, the route that Jake might explore next.
Yeah, well, I've told him this for ages that I like that option. So Jaegers up 10 points. This is an infiltrating unit for 90 points.
They could do some damage.
Yeah.
Those little knives they've got, and if they hit the judge target and get +2 AP.
AP4.
AP4, exactly.
What?
Yeah.
AP4 attacks?
Yeah. They could do real damage. So they probably should have gone up, but putting up too much probably would have been a bit sad.
Even 110.
Yeah, before this seems like, they didn't need to go up. AP4.
No,
150.
No, I mean even for a 10 unit to go right. Here's my infiltrating unit. Get wrecked for 80 points. Even if you lose them, you're like, well, that's a pretty decent move block for 80 points to sort of, yeah.
It was. 90 is a bit fairer.
Because also, what it also unlocks is I remember that I really struggled to play against Votann, so my way to play against them was take 3 units of scouts, and then if I went first, just move and advance all my 15 scouts across the front line. I'm like, those bikes that can scout, no sir. You're not scouting. But now the Jaegers are that 10-man, cool, the rest of our army can now go vom vom,
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, so it'd be interesting to see what Votann does. I think they're a bit of a sleeper faction, I think they're going to have a rise.
Well, they haven't changed a huge amount, which, as you said earlier, means that because they haven't changed a huge amount, some of their main predators have been affected.
Yeah, for sure. Right. Necrons up next. Are we only at Necrons? Right, so this is taking forever. We need to stop chatting. Right, Necrons had some changes. Orks had some changes. That's about done. We'll call it a day and we'll see you tonight at 7 o'clock, yeah? Right, so Necrons. Where do we get to? Well, we've done Marines at least. Necrons, Catacomb Command Barge is down, Annihilation Barge is down. The Death Marks are up. Cool, that's good. Mm-hmm. I mean, they did not need to be 60 points for 5 models.
The Deep Strike? No.
Deep Strikes? No. The Lock Horse Destroyers, a lot of people took those, so it's good to see them up.
Yep.
The Monolith, sorry Matt, but that's also up as well.
He only caused the first price hike.
Yes.
And then people would decide to spam 2 monoliths would cause the rest.
Well, when one's good, 2's just better, right?
Yeah.
So look, it's good to see the Praetorians coming down.
I'm very happy about that. And actually this is worth pointing out some of the other changes for Necrons. So the Obeisance Phalanx, the cool detachment that's all about Triarch units. The Silent King finally has the Triarch keyword.
Are you actually kidding me?
The Triarch himself
has the Triarch keyword.
Has the Triarch keyword.
That's cool.
It's very cool.
We should put Necrons on stream soon.
We definitely should.
With the Silent King, with loads of Praetorians, and run that detachment.
Also, nobles now benefit from the rule, which means, in short, that Imhotep benefits, which he should because he's basically an overlord.
Yeah.
And Trazyn does as well.
Cool.
So.
Well, that's actually made a bit of Games Workshop top work.
Yeah.
Big thumbs up from me then.
Very strange that you didn't do it in the first place. But
hey, look. Credit where's credit's due. It's happened.
But they did create an entire book of how we can play our models, so, credit where credit's due.
Yeah. No, I like that. I think there's some good, solid changes for Necrons. I'm just sick of uppy downies.
Yeah.
Okay, Orks next. Now, Orks were peak, weren't they?
They were peak.
The bully boys were up there, and then they had a rules change, and they thought, right, we'll take those rules away.
Yes.
We'll give you a points increase as well. Get wrecked.
And that's what happened.
Yes.
They got wrecked.
Bully boys were like, face of the earth gone. Sorry everyone if I've broken your eardrums, but there we go. That's what happened to them, and that's how the Meganobs felt. Now they've had some points drop. So for a 5-man team, which I think is a good team to take, they're down 25 points. So if you were taking 18, cool, you got yourself 75 points. Commandos down. I mean, Commandos should probably be the same sort of cost as your Jaegers.
Yeah.
But they ain't AP4 though, are they?
No, but they are more attacks.
Okay.
And they can't be overwatched.
Okay. That's all right then.
Yeah.
There's the hunter rig now and the kill rig coming down, significant points cost. I know Ben Jones is eyeing those up. He's like, maybe 3 of each could be tasty.
Okay.
Snagger boys down. All the boys are down. So
Deathcopter's down is good.
yeah.
And the Death Dread. Yeah.
So, but they're like a jetpack, mate. So jet bike. So they're still
True.
Yeah.
They can deep strike innately, which gives them something at least.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what Orcs can do. Orc players, are you happy with this? I can't imagine they're going to be upset by it.
Well, they can't be upset.
Any units that you were wanting to come down that didn't, maybe? I don't know.
Joshua has said flash kits need the knobs keyword.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, they are essentially knobs. They've just got big guns as well.
Right. Cool.
Knobs with big guns.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah. Cool. All right, well, yeah. That would have been an easy change, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Little G, have a knob.
Yeah.
Keyword.
Yeah.
Right, so Marines we've done. Space Wolves up next. Right, the Hounds of Morokai.
Mm-hmm.
I think they are free now.
Yeah, just any
Still-
Reavers free. Just have them.
No, I'm not.
Please use these models.
No, I'm not taking them, Michael, okay?
Okay.
They will clock me out if they're free, okay? Because I won't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
I'll look at them and be like, how do I use this unit?
They've
So-
got anti-psyker keywords.
Powerful. Right, Bjorn the Hellhounded is up 10. He's got
Lord of Deceit. Yeah.
Logan up 15.
Okay.
I mean, he shouldn't be 100 points, Logan. He should be 130 with the other chaps of the chapter masters.
I mean, he is a Terminator, so he's a bit tougher, which means he should be a bit more costly. But his abilities aren't inherently as powerful.
Yeah.
One of
He's
them's
got
one use, right?
Yeah, he got one which is once per game.
Yeah, but he should be up there, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, he should be up there. His rules should definitely support him being the same cost as the rest of them.
Yeah.
But he's the same as Azrael right now, which is a joke.
So long fangs, you can take 5 or 6. There are the 30. There are the 120 or.
So you can basically have like a Terminator sergeant, rock up and lead the squad.
Cool.
It's just like, I'm in charge now.
Thunderwolf Cavalry. Okay, up 20 and up 40 for. Yeah, okay. So if you were taking the 18, your list has gone up 120 points.
Yeah.
Well, also the enhancement went up for Stormlance.
Oh, cool.
The good ones. So
Okay.
that's also something that got hit on that particular list. That Wolf Gel list has been hit by that.
Okay.
I think.
Anyone else that was playing Stormlance that's not Space Wolves? Sorry.
Yeah,
Just
Yeah.
take some Reavers. Help you out.
for free.
No, they Khan on foot. That's what you needed.
Khan on foot. Well, this is the thing. He learned about the jet bike thing.
He knew
He knew,
it was coming.
and he was like,
I'm
I'm better
able-
off on foot, guys. Don't make me a bike. Do not sculpt me
A bike.
a beautiful bike.
No,
I
don't,
don't
want
need Moonjacking.
No.
I just need to walk around.
it. I'll be better.
I'll be better.
Gun and
I can
bolts.
go through buildings.
Do you want a bike? No, do not give me the bike. I'll get moved blocked and stuff. This will be bad. Walls will be the worst nightmare.
I'll only be able to lead outriders. Don't do it. Head of the game.
The Invader ATV went down though.
I think he needs a points increase.
Yeah.
I think that's
Because
what
he's
we
on foot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, well, I don't think the long things, they're 120 points.
Sure.
Whatever. Skyclaws, 10 is 165
So that's
points.
like your assault jump pack intercessors.
Mm-hmm. You take
You
15
get
of them.
50, that's kind of cool. You can have a unit of 15 jump pack dudes.
240 though, you ain't taking.
No, you're not. But
No,
it's
maybe
cool,
if it was
though.
200 points, you might.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it might have been a bit harsh on the Thunderwolf Cavalry, but it's such a polarising list.
This is another unit, just like I was saying about the Lion.
Yeah.
In like you're not as competitive against your less experienced players. They just don't stand a chance.
And if it
Because-
goes first, it's
and
really
if it
good.
goes exactly,
Yeah.
it's just a shame. Difficult to balance.
Yes, Jordan.
We have had a super chat from Black Knight. Looking forward to seeing what new lists I can craft with Dark Angels and mass Death Company Blood Angel spam. I wonder how I fit a 10-man Death Watch Black Star, Artemis and Assassins for both of my armies. Michael, any thoughts on that one?
I probably just
Wouldn't.
wouldn't to be honest. But we can talk about that during our coaching call. Yes. If you really want to run it, I will see what I can do. But you're probably better off not being in a black star, for one.
What's that?
That's the plane.
Is it?
Yeah, the Corvus Black Star's the
Oh,
plane.
of course it is a Corvus. I just know it's a
the
Corvus.
Corvus, yeah.
Black, yeah. Okay, right. Town up next. Thank you for the super chat, though.
Yeah,
Appreciate
cheers.
it. It's cool. The Black Star is a cool. Yeah.
It's cool.
It's a cool thing, but
It's not 180 points cool.
no. Okay, so did we miss Uriel Ventris? Can we just? He didn't change.
I don't know
did
if
he?
we missed some
Well,
of the
there's a
because there's
few
Guilliman
rules.
as well, right? I don't know if we missed. Didn't know if they were all in the same bit.
Ultramarines are their own bit, or are they in Space Marines?
No. So we've gone through points, but there's quite a few changes in terms of rules, like Hellblasters and stuff, which we'll cover after the armies, right?
Gulliman is down 65 points. We haven't spoken about that.
We didn't talk about Guilliman going down 65 points, which is mega.
Because he's actually a bit of a force multiplier, different to the Lion.
He is, yeah.
Good. I am tempted to run some Ultramarines now, especially with the change of Uriel Ventris.
Yes.
He's very
So
good.
Ventress has had his rule update because it didn't do anything previously. But Ventress now has Lord of Deceit. So in addition to giving one of your units Deep Strike, which is mega, now he's also Lord of Deceit.
Double mega.
So before you start the game, he's magic for you. And now while he's on the board, he's a menace for your opponent.
I love him.
Yeah, he's auto-include for me. If I was playing Ultramarines, Ventress goes straight in the list.
Agreed. Right, Tau. All the Kroot have come down. If it's got the word Kroot in it, it's come down in points, basically, apart from if it's a rider for 1, but down for 2. Is that right?
Yeah, they're really weird points for what they've done with the
Yeah,
riders.
it's because they don't like the really cheap one model unit
Yeah.
being around, so they've increased the points.
Makes sense, yeah.
Excuse me.
Against like MSU kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's too efficient as an action unit, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Pariah is, they're very durable, the old Piranhas, aren't they?
Piranhas are annoying, yeah.
They're very durable with Scout. The Riptide going up as well is good because a lot of people were spamming those. So,
Farsight going down's weird, but okay.
again, he shouldn't be 95, should he? He's a powerful dude.
He is a very powerful. He can use any stratagem for 1 less
I
in
think
the entire book.
He's like a big winner, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
3-inch
done well.
deep strike,
Not quite done as well as Uriel Ventris, but...
he's done all right.
Don't forget as well, the Pure Tide Angro Neurochip had new rules in the FAQ as well.
Yes, that's right.
What does that do?
Yeah. So when you use a stratagem on the unit, on a 4 you get CP.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's not really many other ways to generate CP, but it means if you take Farsight, because you can't take Ethereals, you now have a way of getting command points.
Oh, Farsight, is it? Yes, okay.
In a retaliate, yeah.
Gotcha. Right, yeah.
Which is quite cool.
But not on his unit, obviously, because he can't take it. But you're saying when you take him, that's a rules thing, you can't take an ethereal. Got it. Right, just clarifying that for the chat. Okay, cool. So there's 1,000 Suns up next. Okay, there's a lot of red. Araman's up 10. Araman on disc is up 10. Basically, everything's up 10. Magnus is up 25, though. And he is a beast.
He is a beast.
He's in every single list without fail.
So I actually am a big fan of the fact that a chapter's Primarch is in every single one of their lists. Because they're that good. I kind of wish the other Primarchs were so good that you'd have them in every list. But I don't think that Magnus is overpowered. I think he is very strong, but you can deal with him.
He's hard, though, to deal with. I don't think... I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay, fair enough.
And I'm going to disagree with you on the point that I don't think a Primarch should be in every list. I think it should be a strong consideration to be in a list.
Yeah, okay.
But I wouldn't want it as an auto-include. I wouldn't want to go that far.
Fair enough.
I think it's nice to be like, do I put in the Lion? Or do if I drop him and I get, like, my boys, Belial, Ezekiel, Azrael instead? Like, do I want, like, the chapter master and friends?
Yeah.
You know how, like, you used to have, like, the kind of master, who's like the master of the reclusion or whatever?
Oh, the masters of the chapter.
Yeah, because, like, the Lion can't be everywhere, right? He's only one dude.
He is only one dude.
But, you might have, like...
Azrael, though.
He is everywhere. But that's what I mean. I think he should be an option, but then also should be, like, an equivalent package.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a shame, right? Because he's in an army that just doesn't have many unit data sheets.
Yeah.
And I think that compounds the fact that you have to take him. because there's nothing equivalent to Magnus.
And I think it's good that rubrics are up for 5 or up, but the 10 is down, so we might see some 10s, which is cool.
Yeah, agreed. Terminators, they maybe could have come down, or maybe now there'll be an option because everything else has gone up. Hopefully.
Yeah.
That's what we end up with.
Yeah, because it's also their mechanic, isn't it, of their ritual points. The more little sorcerers you can take, but you don't get more sorcerers when you take 10s.
No.
So actually, probably like 10 termies, which should be cheaper than 5s. And that could have been a change.
I think Zangors should have been pointed out of the game.
Yeah.
Just they're really annoying in Space Marine 2.
They are actually, yeah.
Really, when they got shields.
Mate, I hate playing against the Terminator in Space Marine 2. That guy's a beast to get through. I keep hitting him and he's shooting me and he's like teleporting away. Anyway, so Vortex Beast going up 10. I think that's fine.
Yeah, probably could have gone up more, but because the rest of the army went up, everything has kind of been.
Have we got a top Thousand Sons list, Jordan, to look at?
We do.
Okay.
So this list was in the top 3 of LGT as well. So it's Ahriman on disc, Infernal Master with Arcane Vortex, Infernal Master with Umbralific Crystal, Infernal Master with Lord of Forbidden Law, Magnus the Red, Thousand Sons Demon Prince. Then we've got 3 units of 5 rubrics, 10 Zangors, 2 Mutilith Vortex Beasts, 2 Chaos Spawns, 2 units of 10 Cultists, and then 3 Zangor Enlightened. And that list went up 120 points.
Not as much as I thought.
No.
That is bad as sisters, have they?
I mean,
or Wolf Gel. That's gone up more.
Wolf Gel, yeah.
Yeah, the Wolf Gel list has gone up more.
True.
That's quite shocking, actually.
It's one character, basically, isn't it? You drop one
Yes.
character, maybe an enhancement.
Yeah.
But then losing one character is quite significant because you lose all the Cabal points.
Or you drop them all to that beast.
Or you drop them all to, immediately.
And you move some units around, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think T-Suns are still going to be strong, by the sounds of it.
Agreed, just less stuff.
Yeah. Let's quickly touch on Tyranids. Old One Eyes up. Winged Hive Tyrant, 200 points. You fancying that now or not?
If I'm playing Vanguard Onslaught,
Maybe.
probably take it.
Okay. But not in any of the
Not
detachments.
in any of the detachments.
Because it's the dude on foot, right? Remember, when you've got feet, it's a buff.
Look,
You get wings, it's a nerf.
it's facts.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
One of the other changes is the rules for the visibility of models and the bases, which is going to affect how you play the Winged Hive Tyrant more than anything else, I think.
And also Magnus, right? So now, correct me if I'm wrong. So it was weird because this rule came into effect and I think it's even been adjusted now since.
Yes. Yeah.
So before, you couldn't draw a line of sight to like Magnus. So that basically this had like 3 iterations, hasn't it? You've had like Magnus, if he's behind a ruin, but a little bit of his wing is like hovering over the terrain feature. Technically he's in it, so he could be shot.
Yes.
So they changed that so now you can't shoot him. But he could still draw a line of sight from his wing. So which is where you could get people like angling a wing over stuff to now see.
Yeah.
So that's now been changed again now, where I think, correct me if I'm wrong, if the base is behind it, not only can you not be shot, but you also can't start shooting from other parts of your model.
Yeah.
So we've got to think about your model now on a base, as in like this, basically get a toilet roll, put it over it, and it's like a cylinder.
Yes.
That's like your line of sight now. It's like a cylinder up from a base.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Do I need to do that again? Like a cylinder up like that?
Yeah.
Stop doing
just like that.
So get a toilet roll, put it over your model and be like, right, that's where I can see from. Okay?
Yes. Exactly that. Exactly that. Yeah.
I know what you're laughing at.
I don't. Just
So,
studying it.
like a can.
Yeah. Like I can.
Yeah.
So the only issue with the Hive Tyrant with the wings is that it is about that wide.
Billy, stop laughing. Yes.
It's about that wide.
Yes.
So getting, you're going to see it anyway. Because the problem is if its wing is around the edge of the building, to see it, you're not trying to look through the building.
You
can
just see
the
around
wing.
it.
You can just see the wing.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
But it makes it easier to hide him by tucking his wing into the building.
You'd have to just
or
go
above the space.
You'd have to crab him, like go side on.
Yeah,
like
you would.
I'm here.
Yeah,
You know.
that's it.
So my wing can be over the terrain, and this wing can be off the table.
Yeah, well, the great thing is pivoting doesn't cost any movement because he's on a circular base.
But when he's like this, he's fair game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So everyone,
Just
maybe do that and then turn his head menacingly. And this is the new pose for the Winged Hive Tyrant. Cool. Got it, everyone. Right.
But in Vanguard, you can make him untargetable. So
Old One Eye's up. Carnifex is down. Carnifexes are down. Old One Eye. I mean, that's cool. Lictors are up a little bit. I think that's fair because they're very good Lictor, aren't they? Well, Fight First are some other rules they've got in. They're fairly tough to kill. You can't even grenade strat them out because they've got too many wounds. Unless you roll 6/6s. 6/4s even. Pyrovores up. Yeah, that's good that they're up. Von Lion's Reapers are down.
which is interesting. I like Von Ryan's.
Yeah.
Might run 6.
It's weird that the Tyrannifex didn't go up.
Yeah, surprising actually, that one.
Because a lot of people... Or the Exocrine.
Exocrine and Tyrannifex probably should have gone up.
Even like 5 points here and there.
Well, if you think about Tyranids, what are the problem units?
Tyrannifex.
Tyrannifex, Exocrine.
Yeah. But
I wasn't going, oh, I've lost my game because the Lictor
got me.
Got me. I was like, oh, the Lictor got me.
Yeah.
Oh, there's 3 of them, they got me.
Old One Eye, he caused me a problem.
I wasn't worried about the Tyrannifex. It was
No.
the Lictors are the ones that...
One pump my vehicle.
Yeah.
I think... But again, it's the win rate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, so look, let's move on to World Eaters now, okay? Angron is up 20 points.
Okay.
Now, there's one person in particular that I'm going to shout out that's very disappointed. That's Lee. Yeah, Lee, who helps us out with a lot of our videos. He started playing World Eaters. He's very upset about this. But Lee, you are in luck because storm hostile objectives now. You can score turn 1. Big news.
It is big news.
Big news.
Huge
news. That's pretty cool, which I like.
I do too. Yeah.
I like that.
But it
now.
makes it an option for fixed.
Yeah, maybe Lee was just had these visions and he just took the wrong secondary.
Yeah.
And now you can take it, Lee. Yeah, as a fixed secondary, it's an option. Yeah.
But Angron is up 20 points.
It's still up 25 points. 20.
And unfortunately, it's not just him.
No, the Martial Execution is also up 10. Not needed, I don't think.
I don't know. You know, when I was playing World Eaters, it wasn't a Master of Executions that was the
Wreck in your face?
the problem.
No. Winged Demon Prince down 25 points, so I don't know if that's... No, he's got wings.
He's got wings.
It's the
mate.
same jetpack.
Well, to be fair, his other option has legs, but it's still a monster.
Yeah, true.
So-
But the one on foot is much better because it gives you an aura of
Yeah.
invuns
Because
and
he's
stuff.
got legs.
The spawn definitely needed to go up because they are obnoxious to kill.
But they've gone down?
No, Jordan's just made it green, but it should be red.
Oh, right, okay.
So they're actually up 5,
To
but
17.
Jordan just thought he'd make them green, not red.
He just loves the World Eaters too much. He couldn't bear to see
More red.
more red.
It was like, I'm going to look at this as like a really get people excited.
Yeah.
But actually,
It's a
they'll come
plus.
to make army lists and they're like, hang on a minute, I should have like at least 30 points extra here, but I don't. In my 3 units of 2.
Yeah, I mean, they should have gone up. That's fine.
Oh, no, I think they're all
worth
just.
it.
I think Angron should be 500 points. I hate him.
Lee, if you're watching this,
I literally hate him. Because this is why I hate Angron, okay? It's more of a mindset thing. Any time you've ever lost to World Eaters, what's the first thing you say?
Angron came back.
Exactly. Exactly that.
Well,
And,
that's your fault, mate.
and then if you lose,
Shouldn't have killed him.
and if you lose with World Eaters, what does the loser say?
Couldn't get Angron back.
Exactly. What a terrible mindset to have for a player that is trying to succeed at an army, is that majority of the people just put their success down to this dude came back or didn't come back. Rather than, do you know what, actually, I played awful. Angron could have come back 60 times and I still would have lost. Because you don't learn anything. So that's more of a, like, I just want to help people improve, and I think he is a gatekeeper for that. Anyway, just my piece. Or
I don't disagree.
get rid of his stupid little comeback rule and make him cheaper or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. Because how do you even point that? How do you appropriately put a points value on that? You can't.
Rolling 3 6s out of 8 dice
With a, yeah,
with a couple of re-rolls maybe.
and he comes back on like, is he? I don't know. But anyway, so there we go. That's my piece on Angron. Personal preference. Don't
Yeah.
like it. Yeah. Any questions, Jordan, before we wrap up?
Lee does want you to go over his new list.
Oh, Lee.
Go away, Lee. Unbelievable.
He sent me about 6,000, so it's quite difficult to...
While we're on Blood Angels, same thing. World Eaters.
How dare you?
Surge moves have changed. They've been standardised.
So what are they now?
So when you do surge moves, you have your normal rules, but the following applies as well. So you can't surge move when you're battle shocked.
Okay.
So this is moving when you've been shot. You don't have to move the full distance.
Okay.
So you could, if you rolled a 6, you could move 4 inches.
Okay.
Obviously, you could enter combat.
You could, yeah.
But you could just not if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
You can only surge move once per phase.
Wow.
So Endless Swarm is dead.
Wow.
For me, anyway.
The swarm is dead.
The Swarm is dead.
Yeah, and also the Penitent host has now been clarified that you have to start in one of the little doctoring things.
Yes, that's right.
Which I think's a shame for the Penitent host.
No.
I think so.
Just play a different detachment, you're all good.
I think when you start it, it should then be sequential. But I don't think you should have to start at turn 1. But anyway, there we go.
That's fair. Have I missed anything, George? What other rules changes have we had that have been quite impactful?
What does people think of our fancy light system I got?
We have
going in
actually
the
had
bucket?
some positive comments on it, actually.
Oh, nice.
Glad
I spent that
Somebody
5.
cared enough to comment about the
I'm
light.
glad I spent that 5 little minutes to sort that out. Yeah.
So there's a couple of changes just to go over. So the lone op ignoring abilities, so such as like Typhus's Mortals, or basically that's been cleaned up now, and I'm pretty sure that now every single datasheet that does that sort of ability now cannot ignore lone operative using their ability.
Yeah.
Because Typhus, the Plasmancer's also been affected.
Oh, God, I hated him.
Yeah, that Plasmancer.
He can do one, I tell you. Oh, have some more wings. Mm.
Well, literally his model just stands there. He's like...
The finger.
Yeah, that guy. Mark for Death has also had a clarification.
Yes. So Mark for Death, if you pick a unit that has leaders in it, you have to kill the unit and one or more of the leaders to score Mark for Death. So if your opponent draws Mark for Death, consider picking one of your units that has a leader in it.
Yeah, you've got to do both.
You've got to kill them both.
And remember, if they use Uppy Downy, you still got it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great against Grey Knights. The other thing as well, Vashtor. I don't know if we mentioned that his name has now been included in all the Soulforge Warp Pack strats.
Very cool. I'm
That's
actually
good.
playing CSM on Friday. I might try Soulforge War Pack.
Bit of Astor
With
action.
Vashtor, with
Because we've
new
got a
changes.
beautifully painted model, so...
We do indeed. It
You
went
can-
down in points, and now we can use all of the stuff.
Cool. I like it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Have
so
people enjoyed our commentary?
they have. We've still got 715 people in the chat. So let us know in the chat
Yeah.
what you've enjoyed and also
What you don't?
what you don't. But
Did you get my sarcasm?
probably not.
Probably not. Do you like my winged Hive Tyrant?
No, we had a lot of people drop off when you started doing that.
Whatever.
Then we have actually had a poll going up saying, and I said, are you happy with the changes to the overall balance of the game? And 69% of people have said yes.
Well, that's a win. It's 69.
So
Yes.
Can't argue with that.
You can't argue with 69%. I mean, look, if anything, I've been hit the most. Me and Wolf Gel,
Yeah.
we got hit the most. So
Yeah, you personally.
me personally.
160 points.
I know. Ridiculous.
I don't think you'll win any games now.
Nope.
I think it's over.
Probably is. Start a new faction.
Yeah.
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 What
But
would I play next,
I've
actually?
heard Death Guard are pretty good.
Yeah, I can case
I
them.
think the community would welcome you with open arms.
Well, now I can be the leader of the Beast of Burgles.
Yeah.
Yeah. What faction would I... Because I got Coventry coming up. Big super major. What
Ultramarines. It's the most obvious answer, right?
I mean, I'm tempted.
We've got some beautiful models.
I got my Centurions.
We've got the Titus model you can use as Ventress.
Exactly that.
I've got a question for you guys.
What's that?
So, 2 questions. First of all, what are the top 3 winners? And second of all, what are the top 3 losers?
Right. I'm going to say a loser.
Okay.
Wolf Gel.
Mm.
Space Wolves, you've lost a lot.
Yeah.
I don't see anything there that really... They're good, but they're not that good to warrant, I think, the... But they're just such a polarising faction to play against is the problem.
Yeah.
So I think Space Wolf players have been hit pretty hard there. And even if they were relying on like Eradicators and other units to help them out, that's also been...
Yeah.
Even like you think the jump pack infantry, they probably had a couple of units of, maybe even Vanguard vets, because you could have a captain. You know, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Space Wolf players,
Yeah.
been
Well, I was
done
going to say
dirty.
Necrons, because obviously their points have been quite heavily increased, but also they can't do the secret mission anymore thing, because they just turn up and score 40 points.
But I think I agree with you from
Yeah.
a like competitive standpoint. But I think now with the keyword
Yes,
changes, it
that's what
opens
I was
up a
gonna
bit
say.
more diversity, which might mean okay, I can use these units and I can try out different detachments.
Mm-hmm.
So I think increasement of fun, 100%,
100%.
but maybe increase of their win rate down a bit.
Yeah, agreed.
What the fuck? Genestealer Cult winner.
Yeah.
Genestealer
100%.
Cult, huge winner from this.
Yeah, they've only had good changes.
Yeah.
Bar potentially the secret mission thing, but they didn't need the secret missions to win their games.
No, I think for me, huge winner, GSC.
Big loser, Death Watch.
Yeah.
They lost. They're not losers.
They're
They
just
lost.
not even in the game. Quite literally. Although they did announce that they're going to get something, but I'm being sidetracked here.
Yeah.
Would you say Space Marines are a winner or a loser?
Loser. 100% loser.
Ultramarines is a winner?
Ultramarines are doing okay, but they've still had the Biologists
They still
and
need that unit.
and the
right?
Eradicator. Yeah, but they've still gone up, right?
Yeah, I think
So-
Dark Angels are ruining it.
They literally are ruining it for everybody.
They are.
They've
They're
been
not
a
doing it
problem
for
army
themselves
for
or
a while.
anything. They're ruining it for
Maybe they
everybody.
really are chaos.
Yeah, I think they are. They ruined Ironstorm. They've ruined Gladius now.
That's what I'm saying.
They're just ruining it. Yeah, Azrael's still too cheap. So I actually think Dark Angels have got off lightly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. We'll see what detachment they jump to next.
Yeah.
Stormlance.
But yes, ruin that one for
First
everybody.
company.
First company.
God.
Get that nerfed. But no, Space Marines I think are a big loser. Personally.
Just your generic Space Marines, yeah.
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 Are the winners loser? Do you think Sisters is a loser? Obviously they've lost out. A lot of stuff's gone up.
Yeah.
So they're not as good as they were.
I actually think Sisters have been. I think they are a big loser, because I think that not only yes, those units had to go up, but maybe even more potentially. I'm not disagreeing on the balance of how they shape out as it currently stands in the meta.
Yeah.
I think they're a loser because they don't have the diversity to field other units. That's how I personally feel.
Yeah.
I want to see some combat units on the table, but I feel like I'm an idiot if I just don't take 3 Castigators.
Yeah.
Point them so that I'm like, Castigator, 180, maybe not.
Yeah. Or decrease something else.
Yeah.
Like an Exorcist, where you're like, okay, I'll take this instead.
No, we don't want to take 3. They're pretty good in 3s.
Okay, damn it.
They need to lose their bloody indirect rule. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then you might be like, 180,
Yeah.
cool, yeah.
Big winner, Beast of Burgle.
Yeah, they
Crew?
obviously got off pretty lightly.
Won the day for me.
I think that it sounds like Thousand Suns got off a little bit lighter than I thought, actually.
There's a lot of red, but it doesn't end up meaning a huge amount.
No.
CSM did well.
Yeah,
CSM
I think that looks like it's going to shape up pretty nicely for people. Bit more, again, diversity within the faction. World Eaters probably, I know I joke about Angron, World Eaters probably didn't need any changes in the whole grand scheme of things. Tyranids, I think, got off lightly. I think Crusher Stampede specifically got off.
Tyranids is a winner.
I think Crusher Stampede is a winner of this,
Agreed.
for sure, yeah.
Agreed.
So I'm going to, my winners, Genestealer Cult,
Tyranids.
Tyranids, and what was the other one we said?
Dark Angels, I think you said.
GSC.
No, I'm not going to go that far. That was not a
GSC,
winner.
you said, as a winner.
Oh, I said that, yeah.
Yeah, Tyranids.
I can't really
Genestealer
think of a
Cult.
third winner.
Guard.
Maybe Grey Knights, actually, in a weird way, because Grey Knights, I think, are a good faction. They're like Lockie is doing really well with them. There's some good Grey Knight players out there on top tables, and they didn't really get impacted negatively at all in their top build, apart from, maybe Canis Rex if somebody took him. But so, all right, there we have it. Yes, Jordan.
We have had a super chat from Lee.
What's he
Question for Mike. Take a 4-pack of Bog Roll to America or win the LVO.
Is that really?
But if I had to win the LVO without Bog Roll, that's what, 3 days? I couldn't live like that.
Without Bog Roll?
Well, yeah, that's the part of the question, isn't it? Win the LVO, but without Bog Roll.
Could take wet wipes.
Can you imagine the rep?
Could take wet wipes, though. He didn't specify he can take wet wipes.
Right. I win the LVO, but with wet wipes. Easy. Yes, George.
There was another question, and actually I believe it was a super chat from Black Knight. Is the Death Company Captain on foot and the Death Company Intercessors melee version worth taking? I wouldn't say they are.
Assault Intercessors just better. Dev Wound Captain, chuck him in with 5 of them. You can't go wrong with that.
The problem is, you're saying,
It's like a BLT sandwich. You can't go wrong.
You've also got OC2 on all of it.
Yeah.
They might work in a Death Company detachment because there are some good strats for the units and enhancements. But again, it's a very niche detachment that, again, I think isn't very competitive.
It's a shame.
Yeah. With points shaping out on them as well.
I do like, hang on a minute, the Death Company, though, with the guns.
The worst unit in the
They
game.
didn't go down. I was expecting them to go down. Now, if there was a unit you could have for free,
That'd be them.
it would be them. And you wouldn't take them.
Because they could Overwatch for free.
They can Overwatch for free.
On 6s.
But they're OC0, so they're not going to hold any objectives. They can't even sit at the back and hold an objective for you.
Or do an action.
You
Or
could
do
put
an
a
action.
chaplain there.
It's just
You're going to put a melee chaplain in that unit.
well, you can already intervene and get your +1 to wound.
With your 0 AP
With your
attacks.
0 AP attacks.
Okay, well, on that bombshell, we'll see you at 7 o'clock tonight. We've got a very special guest in the house that I'm looking forward to play. So Matt is in the house, and we're going to be playing tonight, and it's going to be Black Templars. I've had points drop. Biggest losers, Black Templars. And I'm playing them tonight. I need to rewrite my list.
Watch out for those AP4
Jaegers. They're going to tear me apart. Right, see you 7 o'clock tonight. Votann versus Black Templars. See you later.